So I've shared it with like Augie, and I've talked about it with Chud. So we're aware.
So Chud is aware.
Yes.
Erudite. Oh my god, she's literally a go-between between this girl who doesn't feel like Destiny understands her and Destiny. And she's talking about this and just listing out all the things she wants. This is not a win for Pixie at all, okay? This video is absolutely not, right? There's completely, whatever she was trying to do behind the scenes, right? This is completely f***ed up.
Keep in mind, me, Chud, and Tom had talked about it privately before that call.
Interesting.
For the one where Tom called Molina a Tom knew all the things she wants. She mentions there about getting some kind of like, you know, well, monetary damages from Destiny. And then what? Kyla's like, very softly, I think you could probably argue, Destiny might not pay now, because he was basically being extorted, right? This draws way more attention to the leaks than before. They tried to extort Destiny, right? Which, I mean, kind of illegal, but okay. Released in, yeah, quick succession about like 30 minutes ago. I guess, to open it up, let's get Six's take. Interesting. President Sunday is not coming out to defend victims or seek justice. This is him coming out against Destiny because he has a personal vendetta against him. Any other content creators covering it, including Cope and Seed YouTube, are capitalizing on this for the sake of content. Sunday is directly going against the wishes of a victim with private information that, in Sunday's own words, quote, belongs to the victim. So people can see that Destiny's pittance to a victim was paying for some bills and nothing more. That Destiny's closest business partner, the one who literally has no career without him, NotSoErudite, was talking directly to one of his victims and didn't remove herself due to conflict of interest, instead facilitating a situation that benefited her. Now, we have people making an actual show of the victims of revenge porn because, what? Because the victim made a rash decision in which she, without her consent, had her revenge porn shared to the entire world because she was hurt and suicidal, because the person who is at the center of it had more important information about his actions shielded away, because she potentially tried to extort Destiny. There was a time to release all of this, and if people really had some moral obligation, it was weeks ago. There was a time to come down on Destiny hard for the revenge porn leaks, and that was November 29th, 2024. Instead, people like Nicholas Diorio said there's no story. It was just Destiny sharing revenge porn. Direct quote, I don't think so. Destiny got suspended. Okay. If only NotSoErudite, Pisco, Dan Saltman actually held their business partner accountable. If only Destiny and Cherry didn't attempt to make Destiny a victim when the leaks of him sharing revenge porn happened. If only Queenman actually confronted Destiny, instead of sitting idly by while Destiny was on Jiskel's stream, defending himself against sexual harassment / abuse allegations. If only people didn't get in their heads about not naming victims when that information was public knowledge. There are now 3 confirmed victims known, and no, you shouldn't have to see revenge porn in the process of confirming that yourself. If people close to Destiny would confirm that for you. Now there's a video that shows you exactly how to access the leaks of revenge porn. An opportunity wants to post the evidence of Destiny's misdeeds, like he actually cares, while he memes about the possession of such evidence to his buddies, who were also friends with Destiny. Paints Destiny's victims as extortionists, while leaving out essential information as to why they might need to avoid legal action. Tooting his own horn while he was the only person talking about the leaks, doing anything he can to inflate his ego and self-image. This isn't justice for Pixie or any of the victims. This isn't accountability for Destiny. It's YouTube autoerotica for President Sunday. Okay. Nope, I cannot read. Listen, we'll keep that in our back pocket, okay? We'll keep that in our back pocket. I think Sick is pretty on the money with this stuff. Let's listen to the leaked phone call with Nicholas Diorio. Also, I do have this all prepared, okay? And this is... Fuck it. I don't think there's anything here. This is what's his face said. Sunday said when he was asked about it in Spicy Chat. I forget exactly. I'll get the exact message if need be. But it was basically asked, was this Nick call leaked? Or was it recorded without his knowledge? Or did he know? He said he called me and I turned on OBS. He did the same thing. It's cool. We all talked again after. Which, I mean, Sunday's smart and he seems to be wording that quite intentionally. He called me and I turned on OBS. He did the same thing. It's cool. Is he talking about in that moment? Is he talking about he's done the same thing before? Well, he did the same thing. It's cool. We all talked again afterwards. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's review that call now.
Hey.
Sorry, apologies. Still getting earphones in.
No problem.
All right. Damn, you're very quiet. Let me turn you up.
Oh, is that on my end or?
I can't tell. Discord's a shit show.
Yeah. They shouldn't let everybody manage their own audio and then manage everyone else's audio. And then, I don't know, it's a fucking
The worst
shit
thing has
show.
been is I spent a lot of time like making sure that my audio on stream is fine and like tweaking with Discord. It's nonstop, but it comes out on the other end just, it's like I'm talking into a potato. It's terrible.
So I wanted to talk to you about some of this Destiny stuff
Yeah.
because, and I can't really say too much because I don't want to be, this is a very strenuous situation. I don't like covering things when I already know all the answers because then when I speculate, I'm lying. That's a huge thing for me. So with certain subjects, I just don't touch them because when I think I've got too much information, there's not really an unbiased way to cover it. I'm just kind of waiting in the wings for things to happen. So with Destiny, it's weird because this is one of those where it's like we're talking about potential non-consensual. I don't want to say revenge porn because they're going to argue 50 different fucking definitions.
It's objectively. I'm just going to stop. It's objectively not revenge porn.
Yeah.
Like that's not the issue. People saying that are as stupid as
It's objectively not revenge porn, okay?
people saying it's about him being gay. That is not the issue at all.
I view it in a similar manner, not in a malicious sense, but more like non-consensual releasing of private sexual material. That's probably the better way of saying it, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm guessing when Sunday says, did he hire Laura for this? I don't know. I think what he might be talking about is the leaking of it to Kiwi Farms. That's not revenge porn. I think that might be what he's talking about.
And I'm pretty sure personally that that's true. So I think that should be, I think that's genuinely enough if it ever like bubbles to the surface to probably destroy him publicly. But again,
I think that's optimistic or pessimistic. I don't know where you stand on that.
I think it's on the money based off the stuff that I've heard talked about.
Right.
But like the issue I have with this is there's no story unless that person is involved. And if that person's not involved and it becomes their word against any other person's word, then that's a loss 100 times out of 100. And it's like a career ruining loss.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is an extremely difficult plane to navigate.
Can you restate that for me?
His Sunday said when this was actually recorded. No, because Nick has changed his tune quite quickly.
What do you mean?
Can you say that again? I just want to see if you say it differently. Just indulge me. There is a reason for this.
I think it's I think it's a career ruining loss. I think that when you when you pick a fight with Destiny and you don't have the person involved, I don't think you can make that. I saw what he did to Chud. I didn't know the stuff about Lauren Southern was real. Chud did.
Yeah.
Chud knew. Chud talked to Molina, and that changed my perspective on a lot of stuff with Destiny. So
Okay.
That was super fucking true because Chud was he was not exactly held in the best regard at the time. I don't know if he actually started to struggle. What did he use Chud? Okay. So a little bit of a lore recap. Okay. If somebody could link me the original the original clip of Chud, right, I'd appreciate it. But quick rundown. Okay. So Chud went on a live stream while, a lot of the I think Lauren stuff was originally happening with the content on stream, right? And Chud basically opens up and says, "Listen, it's all public, right? Destiny was fucking Lauren Southern." He's like, "No, that was not public. That was not public because basically it kind of been confirmed on another kind of streamer's content called Connor Points. Now he basically kind of confirmed some stuff and Chud thought that everything was now confirmed in public. All that was actually confirmed is they had some kind of emotional relationship, right? But there was nothing confirmed technically in terms of sexual. So that was what Chud confirmed. Huge drama behind the scenes, from what I remember, or at least from what I recall. But yeah, there we go.
All right. There is of course the complicating factor. Or there's a couple of complicating factors, obviously, but there's the complicating.
Also, yes, Chud has had private communications with Molina to talk about some of this stuff. Molina was the one that confirmed, at least to Chud, exactly what kind of happened. Chud, I think, tried to, or he was weighing up getting Molina on stream at the time, but he ended up not going into it. To be fair, he did say that Molina was a little bit crazy, which you might say kind of fed into Destiny's kind of narrative around all that. But I think she would just like send a million fucking DMs to every kind of response. So, you know,
factor where this other person notwithstanding, we have some degree of confidence that Molina won't ever say anything because of, you know, Destiny's threats a while back. I don't know if you caught those. Yeah, like, are you aware of that?
I didn't catch them directly, but I mean, I've downloaded all the footage for saying like anything possible about the situation.
No, I'm talking about Destiny. I'm not talking about Molina. I'm talking about what Destiny said.
Oh, so was this around the same time frame, or was this prior?
This would have been when the divorce was being made public.
Yeah.
So there was, I can send you a clip.
But isn't she like a participant in this? Didn't she always say that she'd had access to a lot of these girls' like images and stuff prior?
It's a possibility. It doesn't really matter.
I almost remember her saying like Steven showed me everything, which I guess at the time nobody took in a weird way. But if this is something that he does,
wait, who said that to him? Who said that to him?
Yeah.
So there was, I can send you a clip.
But isn't she like a participant in this? Didn't she always say that she'd had access to a lot of these girls' like images and stuff prior?
It's a possibility. It doesn't really matter.
I almost remember her saying like Steven showed me everything, which I guess at the time nobody took in a weird way. But if this is
given
something
the name stuff, like evidently not, right?
Yeah. So now that's like let me go look it back.
But I'm going to meet you halfway there. Like I'm going to agree. I don't think Molina is an innocent victim in this. I think she is a victim in this, but she can be just as shitty as Destiny is. It just doesn't make any difference to me. It's like, okay, it's still bad. We know for a fact that there were other people who were victims in this who absolutely weren't doing that kind of thing themselves. I'm unaware of anything Molina's done to that level, though.
Well, do we know? Do we know that? I mean, I'm not saying that this is untrue, right? But so far as I'm aware, I'm not sure that we actually know anybody who has actually come out and said, you know, this was done against my, you know, what I kind of confirmed, or what I'd kind of given permission for. If I'm wrong, I'm absolutely fine to kind of admit that I am. I know a lot of stuff has been kind of very, very quiet. Destiny's obviously kept his kind of cards close to his chest. But if I am wrong, send it to me on Discord. Okay, I'll pull it up.
I'm open to. If
I don't have anything on Molina. Molina's not. I don't know really anything about Molina outside of what's publicly available.
Yeah, the problem here, and that's what complicates this a little bit. Even though it's not technically revenge porn by itself, we have the history of Destiny floating leaking nudes as a threat. That's one thing. Yep. More important to my eyes is we have, while the divorce was going down, we have him going live and saying to his audience, Molina's never going to say anything against me because we know that my reputation's already in the dirt. So if she says stuff, I'll leak stuff, and it'll be really bad for her. Paraphrasing. I can send you the clip for that. That's what really. I had issues with Destiny, like serious issues with Destiny before that. That sort of changed my perception in a pretty radical way, nonetheless. That's like, okay, those Lav Epstein comparisons are a little less crazy.
If you don't know what they're referencing, basically, okay, I am the law knower. So Destiny had a very, very big, very public divorce, okay, with Molina. A lot of drama spilled out. Molina's basically on streams with her, like, you know, I guess her husband, her new boyfriend, pardon me, and they're basically talking about a lot of stuff. Destiny comes out, responds. It's a huge feud. This might be like some of the most toxic that I guess like Destiny's have been like publicly, short of like directing harassment, right? He's basically saying, you know, if they're going to talk shit, you know, I don't want to misquote it because I want to get the exact words, but he basically says, you're interacting with me. I'm a big online figure, you know. Do you not expect me to go nuclear? Which is, you know, kind of coordinating harassment, right? I mean, he's hinted at it before, so that's what that's referencing. And what was the last 5 minutes? Last 5 seconds?
Comparisons are
the Lav Epstein. This goes a little bit into the Mr. Girl document. And I guess Lav Loon, who ended up making... I think she ended up flip-flopping, and so it's hard to even say what she ended up saying, but ended up saying that Destiny was kind of weird, or he would try to Well, Lav called him the Harvey Weinstein of Twitch. But then what she meant by that, apparently, was he's a weird guy, and he's weird sexually, right? And apparently that's all she meant. When she was asked about this and confronted, and people said, you know, Harvey Weinstein is known basically for trading kind of sexual favors for like roles in movies, right? Like career success for them. Is that what you meant? And she said, no. I just meant that he was like kind of creepy. So I can get what Sunday means here as a joke. Like, well, the love stuff seems a lot more serious now, but on its own, I'm not sure.
A little less crazy.
Yeah. And again, I mean, I didn't take exception to the fact that he like doxed you a couple weeks ago.
You didn't take exception to that, or?
I mean, like I'm acknowledging that that's definitely another thing he's done, and people are kind of worried about that with them. Not necessarily me.
Between you and me, I am not particularly afraid of that.
No, but I'm saying other people probably are.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another one where it's like I don't blame people for that.
Do you think you're in danger of that?
No, I've been doxxed 100 times. I got doxxed 4 months into being on YouTube by Ethan Ralph. Destiny can't do anything to me those people didn't do.
I should have looked in advance.
Yeah, no, I've been turbo doxxed. The worst thing that happened is they finally got my cell phone after 4 years, so I had to get a new number. That was inconvenient, but at this point, I mean, you can only really get doxxed so many times before it's just like, well, I mean, you're not going to swat me, so what's the fucking... Well, oh, you got me.
My assumption was when I put my face up, there would be ways to link me up. So I take.
I mean, my name's Nicholas Diorio. Is not. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I take.
Be inconvenient if they got my job, though. That would be a pain in the ass. But I've taken steps.
Unfortunately, I don't have a job, so.
Shit. Just to interrupt this, they're just chit chatting about, I guess, Nicholas being doxxed. Six just posted this basically live, I guess. Like 30 minutes ago. Okay. So by the way. When Sunday says Pixie didn't care about the news being leaked, and her only interest was money, she specifically states that the monetary damages is to make sure Destiny learns his lesson and doesn't do this again. Okay. So this is a text she sends to Kyla. I think it is public. Okay. Yeah. The only problem is number 3, because even with the removal of the video and getting the guy hacked charged, Steven has to face consequences proportional to his actions. I want this to be the most expensive mistake of his life, and I'm essentially asking him to self-punish himself in a way I don't think he would like or agree to without the law involved. I don't have a dollar amount from the top of my head. It just has to be enough that for the rest of his life he will think, if he thinks of the word nude, he associates it with the amount of money he lost. Obviously, I don't want to make him destitute, but it should be large enough that he does feel upset about it and is not easily recoverable. Who is this? So this is Pixie. Now, she's one of the people whose nude images were leaked. And she is, I think she's basically one of the only people confirmed, right? Because I think there is some way to look at it where some kind of freckles or something, you can basically confirm it, right? Shut the fuck up, we weren't saying their names. Everybody fucking knew, stop. So we have confirmation it was her? Yeah, I mean, we don't have... I mean, this is a confirmed message that Pixie sent to Kyla, right? Yeah. She was absolutely confirmed. We have done freckle analysis. Yeah. Now, she's been a relatively private person. Let me pull up a clip, but she's basically been in and around kind of the Destiny orbit for, quite a long time. Here we are, DG.
It's all very excessive in this country.
USA. How does...
Has she been blurred out in this...
How does Elon do it again?
He says USA.
Wait, has she been blurred out in this footage? Does the camera ever focus on her?
And an Arab and a terrorist who usurped the American...
This is Pixie. She's basically been in the Destiny orbit for years, right? Which kind of, maybe lends some credence to the Lav claims, because she has absolutely no pull on her own. The vocal fry is crazy. Yeah, my throat is fucking rough, alright?
I'm safe there. Okay, so just out of curiosity, first of all, I appreciate you sort of being candor is the word about this. I appreciate you being open about this.
No problem. It's frustrating to not be able to talk about stuff
Okay, just before we get into that, because that'll be juicy. Okay. Kyla says, do you have a specific thing you want now, which is for him to lose a certain amount of money? Oh, sorry. But you have a specific thing you want now. There we are. Pixie says, it is that. I don't think if Stephen faces consequences, he will change, and he will do this again. If he wants, he can donate the money to some charity or organization. I just think that, that other than jail, or even more than jail from the studies I've read, money is the strongest reinforcer, and losing it is the strongest punishment. I don't believe he will stop his actions unless he faces some level of punishment. Okay, so, because the thing for a long time, right, is maybe this is okay, right? Maybe, you know, she's been okay with this. This isn't necessarily something, like, bad, right? But this seems to indicate that no, this isn't, she wasn't okay with this. This was absolutely shared without her consent. And this has kind of been unconfirmed until this moment.
Stuff like this.
What specifically would have to happen to trigger some kind of, you know, determinate position on this in public for you?
I mean, I'll be super candid about it. Pixie would need to talk.
Yeah? Would she have to talk publicly? Or do you just have to see it?
No, I think I've already seen it. I think she needs to talk publicly because if anything...
So I'll back up just because the question got dropped out. This is basically, you know, what would it take? Because Nicholas says it's very, very hard to talk about this stuff. And Sunday asks clarification. What would it take for you to talk about this?
What specifically would have to happen to trigger some kind of... Okay, so just out of curiosity, first of all, I appreciate you sort of being candorous, the word about this. I appreciate you being open about this.
No problem. It's frustrating to not be able to talk about stuff like this.
What specifically would have to happen to trigger some kind of, you know, determinate position on this in public for you?
I mean, I'll be super candid about it. Pixie would need to talk.
Yeah? Would she have to talk publicly? Did so? Or did you just have to see it?
No, I think I've already seen it. I think she needs to talk publicly because if anything, if it comes down to it and Destiny convinces her privately to take that other... Look what happened with Chud Logic and Lauren Southern. He had Molina coming to him and telling him these things directly. And he was put in a position where he can either eat shit and be hated by that community and lose a huge percentage of his audience to the point where I had to pick up the other half of the slack and like help him out, right, to keep him afloat, or he could just leak those messages and be justified immediately, and it would start like a huge conflict. And he did the right thing by loyalty, but like, you know what I mean? It's like if you don't have the person, then it's you fighting on behalf of somebody else. And I've seen this go down so many times with content creators where if they don't have the support of the actual victim in the situation, you're fighting a losing battle from day one.
So principally your concern is that you're going to take a pretty big financial / audience hit if you were to do this.
I think there's a genuine risk that I'm going to get left out to dry here, because if she doesn't say anything, or even worse, if she comes out and says it's not true, then I'm fucked.
You said you've seen things. What have you seen, may I ask?
I can't go into detail about that stuff.
I don't need detail, just like what kind of things? Could I ask that?
I'd be giving away the whole thing.
There's no level of abstraction you can do?
No, I don't think so.
What are they talking about here?
I can't go. She doesn't say anything, or even worse, if she comes out and says it's not true, then I'm fucked.
You said you've seen things. What have you seen, may I ask?
I can't go into detail about that stuff.
I don't need detail, just like what kind of things? Could I ask that?
I'd be giving away the whole thing.
Okay, because the rumor is, right, that Destiny is paying for her, basically, kind of law school fees. And that's kind of, that's partly how he's like, you know, making it up to her, basically, for all this, which, is not cheap.
There's no level of abstraction you can do?
No, I don't think so.
You're aware of who the victim is? I
don't know much about her. I just know who she is. And I know she's been telling people stuff, and that stuff has gotten to me.
Interesting. That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Do you have any knowledge about this at all? Because if you're aware of any of this stuff, I'd be able to engage with it further. I'd have to gauge your knowledge on it, because I wouldn't want to give away the fucking...
I am in the same boat as you, so... Maybe...
So they're just playing kind of tiptoe around each other. Well, no, not really. I guess Sunday is trying to play tiptoe. Does he actually know what he's talking about here? Or is he just pretending to see if Nick is going to actually confirm something? I don't know why Sunday's been so coy about this.
Reassures you.
Do you have the DMs?
Do I have the DMs?
Yes, you have the DMs.
I'll tell you what, meet me halfway. Tell me the DMs with whom.
Erudite.
I have the DMs with Erudite.
Okay, so we're on the same page, I guess.
Okay. Do you have the DMs with Steven?
No, I don't have those.
I have the DMs with Steven.
I don't think we've seen those yet. I don't know if he's bullshitting here, but I don't think those are public.
Do you know how this... tell me, how has this been resolved privately?
Vaguely. If I had to guess, I think he probably gave her somewhere between a few $100 to a few $1,000.
I think it's going to be more.
You think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be a lot more.
Wait.
Gave her somewhere between a few $100 to a few $1,000.
A few $100 to a few $1,000. That's not what I'm hearing. Reading at least.
I think it's going to be more.
You think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be a lot more.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a lot more.
What makes you think so?
I don't want to say because you haven't said anything specific, so I'm not going to say anything specific. But you've been because you can totally.
What would you like me to say? What would you like me to say specifically?
I might hold on. Pause. So if the messages have gotten to you and they've gotten to me, how have they not gotten public?
That's what I'm curious about.
How has nobody wanted to touch this?
Well, it might speak to the sources being very minimal. Like they may have just gotten to very few people.
That was one of my concerns. Or the messages could be potentially faked. That's another one of them.
You think so?
Yeah, they could be. I mean, I don't have scrolling messages. I just have a DM from somebody. But I have heard, like, I mean, she reacted in fucking Spicy Chat, so I know she was freaked out. I know that's real. She went into Spicy Chat and said she was losing her fucking mind because they were talking about it. So that definitely did happen.
Here's something. It stands to reason.
Actually, I can prove how much you know. So if I say, I'm going to say the beginning of a sentence. Can you fill in the blank?
Probably not from memory, but I'll give it my best.
I'll try to pick a notable one.
All right.
I want this to be the most
financially painful, emotionally painful, something like that.
Not good enough, Mr. Sunday.
Give me a second. Give me a moment.
This is the DM that
I'll just look at the thing. Okay.
Wait. Do we have confirmation that Straighterade is the one who leaked? It was in Spicy. Okay. Hello? Could we not just cut this out?
Repetition of that sentiment earlier.
It would be a blue message.
It would.
Depending on, actually, yeah.
Just scrolling through them because she says, I want this to be the most more than once. I want this, da-da-da-da-da.
Wait, so Sunday has, like, the full chat exchange, then? Does he leak that anywhere?
It's followed by the last line of the previous message is this what you feel you need?
Yeah, that's
I imagine if you have any messages, then you would have this one.
Oh, sorry, the one before that is this what you feel you need?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then
the top of that message is gotcha.
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Expensive mistake.
Yeah. Okay. So we have the same stuff.
Yeah.
Then I can candidly say I think that the rumor I've heard, I have no evidence for this, but the rumor I've heard is that he's going to pay for her law school.
Interesting.
And if that's the case, that's way more than a couple hundred or a couple thousand.
That would be, yeah.
That's where we're entering, like, Epstein conspiracy. This is like some crazy fucking... this is insane if that's the case.
It is.
So,
yeah, but watching this first, and then we're going to go over to the Sunday bit, okay?
I mean, I've privately told everybody I'm completely distancing myself from this guy, waiting for this bomb to go off. But I don't want to be the one to fucking light it. Because I don't know, A, I can't verify these messages myself. B, I don't have Pixie in my corner. And if Pixie does what Molina does...
Oh, fuck, yeah, I completely fucking forgot about that. Wasn't it like... It was like a month ago, right? That Destiny was arguing with Sunday on Gistical stream, and he just drops his fucking name dogs, right? I don't want to go too far, actually.
I did, and give Chud a bunch of shit, and then doesn't open her mouth, then it's career ending for me. Fuck me, I'm screwed, right? So that's why I'm personally not engaging with it. But I mean, I feel stupid. I sent Destiny like a message of support at the beginning of this,
Really?
like it's about his dick getting leaked, not about this part of it. Like, oh, it's a shame that you're.
Yeah, it's not confirmed. It's not confirmed whether or not it's actually his real name, but Destiny seemed to think it was. So.
Fucking dick got leaked or whatever, which I guess is still valid.
I didn't realize how bad it was initially. I thought the big thing was the Lauren Southern leaks. I thought, oh, he's got sex tapes. Okay, surprise, surprise.
Well, in the back of my head, I was thinking, why would all these
me?
people consent to their fucking nudes being exchanged?
Well, the answer
why
is
would
they
that
wouldn't.
even happen? They would absolutely not. They absolutely wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's like. And I haven't really been able to talk about this with anybody because I'm at like a fucking. It's a huge risk to even discuss it because this guy's got such a chokehold over his community. But I legitimately think if it ever comes up that he's paid a large sum of money to silence a woman after he leaked her fucking naked pictures to try to hook up with a random fucking e-woman.
Yeah.
I absolutely think that's career-ending, and I don't think that could be defended. And if it can be defended by his community, it would fucking completely destroy. I mean, yeah, his reputation's in the toilet. It could be lower.
It could be. It's also it's in the toilet with people who care to know.
Yeah. No, I think this is a viral everyone's story.
Okay, just for context. Okay, this is Destiny's middleman who's negotiating these exchanges of money behind the scenes. Okay. This is Destiny's fixer. Okay.
Video like community-wide story if this cover up ever.
What the fuck is this? This is Erudite. This is Kayla, right? That's the woman who is negotiating with Pixie the exact amount of money that he needs to pay.
Comes out.
Can I ask you Can I ask you if the sources you have for this were multiple or singular? Was it one person?
Singular.
Singular.
Yeah, I've been kept in the loop by one person. I don't even know who gave it to that person.
Really? Interesting. It's very interesting.
And
apparently only half of the call has been leaked, so there's another half to come, I guess, from Nick's side. Maybe.
Been passing everything I know to Tom because I need Tom to be aware of this stuff.
How long has he known?
I don't. Since he's tried to stop talking about Destiny publicly, he's kind of taking the same.
Since that video, so before the Chud talk, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay.
We don't want to give anything away, like at all. Like, that's the point. I don't want to give the boat away here. I have no interest. I didn't want to talk about it at all. And we were all kind of caught off guard that it happened. I think I literally agreed that we weren't going to fucking talk about it on the stream. So I made a huge mistake by making a joke about it. Because again, anything that I...
For Tom, okay, because I do remember he was calling Molina a whore, right? And saying that was why he didn't really care about it. Okay? Apparently Tom didn't know. That's what Chud says. Now, if Nick clued him in, then...
say on there is it has to just be lying at this point if I don't want to just tell everybody what I know. Because
right.
I know the answers before I write the question. So it feels extremely fucking slimy, and I hate doing that stuff. But I can't be the one to... this reminds me of the Ico stuff with Edwin.
No, I'm
right?
hearing what you're saying. I'm hearing what you're saying.
I don't want to publish the Edwin shit on behalf of somebody else. That's somebody else's research. This is somebody else's fucking screenshots. This is somebody else's story. And if these people don't step up, I can't help them. I would absolutely cover this if this stuff was published by Pixie or by somebody who has Pixie's consent to release it. Oh, absolutely. Night one stream subject.
Night one, huh?
Right? I don't see a way to move forward with it without that.
Okay. That is very interesting, though. I'm very curious as to how you have this. Then I'm very curious as to how it's gone that far.
I'm very curious too.
So if you had to describe the person who sent it to you, not specifics, is this like, just as an example, because there's like lots of these types, right? Is this like
right. So is this where the claim that this all comes from Straighterade?
I'm not going to tell you who sent it to me, but I'll say that
tell me who sent it to
most of my inner circle has it.
Really?
So I've shared it with like Augie, I've talked about it with Chud. So we're aware.
So Chud is aware?
Yes.
Okay.
Keep in mind, me, Chud, and Tom had talked about it privately before that call.
Before that call? Before what call?
Maybe I'll say that
tell me who sent it to
most of my inner circle has it.
Really?
So I've shared it with like Augie, I've talked about it with Chud. So we're aware. So
Chud is aware?
Yes.
Okay.
Keep in mind, me, Chud, and Tom had talked about it privately before that call.
Interesting.
Before the one where Tom called Molina a whore, Tom knew. I'm guessing Chud didn't say anything. Well, Nick's closer to him anyway. So Nick shared it with him then. And he calls Molina a whore to say he doesn't care about the... I understand some of the uproar about this now. So Tom knew.
What was the logic?
Oh, what do you mean?
Why would you talk about that before that call? The call seems like it's inconvenient for you guys.
This was a stupid thing that we did on a fucking 5-hour live stream that I wish we didn't talk about it at all. We talked about it as more of like a...
Yeah, I bet he didn't. Oh my god. Apparently Gisticle didn't know, which is interesting. But then again, that's what Gisticle says now. Also, I guess he's in the Destiny sphere, right? So if somebody's going to leak these, I can understand why they wouldn't actually leak it to him.
Sorry, just to be clear, you didn't premeditate that conversation. You just talked about this.
No, we spoke about Destiny, and I don't think we had all of the stuff that we had. I think I've gotten stuff since then on that stream. but I think we had a general understand. It's really been a fucking drip feed of information. I found out about the fact that it was non-consensual fairly early on, and then, oh fuck, I hope that's not the case. And I go, well, we'll see. And then it became like, I've heard rumors that Kyla is like the enforcer who's trying to talk her down from taking a better deal. And I'm like, oh fuck, okay. And then I saw, I think we had a general understand. It's really been a fucking drip feed of information. I found out about the fact that it was non-consensual fairly early on, and then, oh fuck, I hope that's not the case. And I go, well, we'll see. And then it became like, I've heard rumors that Kyla is like the enforcer who's trying to talk her down from taking a better deal. And I'm like, oh fuck, okay. And then I saw one.
Kyla is the enforcer who is trying to talk her down from taking a better deal. A better deal with who? I don't know what he's talking about here.
Set of messages. Chud hasn't. Oh fuck. Well, Chud hasn't given me the rest of the messages. I only have one text message. A DM. Yeah, is this text? Yeah, text message. I have one text message, and he has the rest, and he's never shared them with me.
Okay.
So.
Wait, Chud has the rest of the text messages.
I only have one text message. Talk her down from taking a better deal, and I'm like, oh fuck, okay. And then I saw one set of messages. Chud hasn't. Oh fuck. Well, Chud hasn't given me the rest of the messages. I only have one text message. A DM. Yeah, is this text? Yeah, text message. I have one text message, and he has the rest, and he's never shared them with me.
Okay.
So I don't really.
Chud
I don't know
has the
how
rest
he
of
got
the
it.
text messages.
I imagine it's not from Pixie. I imagine Pixie's told somebody who's handed it to him.
She must have told a few people.
And if Pixie's getting a deal, I don't know why this got to me at all. Because why the fuck would she want the drama channels to know if she's getting paid out? Again, none of this. There's stuff here I obviously don't know.
Yeah.
Right. That handouts to the situation, but
right. I don't know.
I hope this makes more sense as to why
it makes a lot of sense.
About it.
Yeah. And again, thank you. I have particular reason to think that the DMs are real.
I mean, I think they're real too. It's just not me thinking something isn't enough to publish it. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
So Nick has just sent this. Okay. Well, like, yeah, not too long ago. Like I said in the call, I'm never going to publish some shit against a girl's will when she can just come out and lie, saying it was all consensual. 10x that when I think they've been paid. That's true. I guess what Nick's worried about getting burned makes sense.
Okay.
This just makes too much sense for it to not be real. I wouldn't stake my career on it, but
can you give a similar description of the source for the law school?
Well, apparently the only thing that's like on the call was what Sunday's reasons for not wanting the story to go public. So it's kind of, it might be interesting, but it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of a nothing burger.
School claim.
Yeah, same source.
Same source.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is this someone who's like who knows shit, or is this just like some guy?
I mean, they claim to have a source. I don't really ask where it comes from because again, I'm not running the story.
Okay, so you don't know who this person is.
So I haven't. No, it's more of like a hey, this is going to happen thing right now, and if you hear anything that's more concrete, we can move forward with it. But that's the assumption. I'm warning Tom as a courtesy because I mean I'm friends with Tom.
I understand. Would you be willing to share that with me?
What?
The anonymous tip you got.
Unfortunately, it was verbal.
It was verbal. Interesting. Was that VC or?
Yeah, we're talking in a call about it. But
okay, was this like a group call or was this like a private call?
Private.
Okay. Where was this guy from? Can you tell me that?
I got it from Chud.
You got it from Chud. Okay, so Chud. Okay, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's interesting. All right. Okay. Well, I guess that's where the
I can't tell if I'm being exposed or if this is helpful or both.
It could be both. No. But in all seriousness, I genuinely appreciate you.
I'm just trying to do the right thing here, and I'm trying to make sure. Like, I don't want to. I'm not trying to be a total fucking douchebag about this publicly. Because I totally understand why people think I'm like sweeping up for it, but I like have actual shit to fear about this.
Right, and to be clear, like I understand it. I understand it completely, and I am also...
From what we're seeing here, yeah, Nick has got a lot of this information from Chud, and I don't think Chud is particularly happy that he's gone and spoken about this stuff publicly. Well, Sunday's going to leak it publicly, obviously.
I am aware from the tenor of these DMs, what it very much strongly looks like Pixie was angling for with these.
Well, I think she's throwing a little blackmail out there for sure.
I think that is an intuition. It's an inference someone could make.
That's the thing is though, but that's the thing. And if I were to cover this publicly, I'm weighing the pros and cons of this. Do you think that it's worse that she's blackmailing or extorting for more money, or do you think it's worse that Destiny's willing to pay her off to dead the story? That's a legitimate conversation that me and my audience would have to come to.
Neither. Here's how I would view it. Okay. There's a hierarchy of bad things. One triggered another, triggered another, triggered another. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. I'm gonna take a halls quickly. And the one bad thing triggered another bad turn, and if that ever made it public, it might trigger another bad turn or reply. That might take the form of, because he's a very vindictive person.
Yeah.
Might take the form of just withholding money. It might take the form of
Turkey Tom was aware that Sunday was doing this. I'm not sure, because how would he know? How would he know? I'm pretty sure Chud and Sunday are friendly, but I mean, Nick has got to have known. If Nick's told Tom, he's certainly told Chud.
Of attempting to take legal action for blackmail.
Yep.
But no matter
Tom
what
said at the
goes
start of
down,
his stream. Okay.
the bad thing Pixie did will not be paid attention to. The bad thing Destiny did will be very bright. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
What the bad thing Pixie did? Do they talk about this in the call? What is the bad thing Pixie did?
yeah.
Might take the form of just withholding money. It might take the form of attempting to take legal action for blackmail.
Yep.
But no matter what goes down, the bad thing Pixie did will not be paid attention to. The bad thing Destiny did will be very bright. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like it reminds me of the Mizkif stuff, where it's like all the stuff happened to Adriana Lee, but all people are talking about right now is that Mizkif didn't defame anybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Mizkif did as bad of things as Destiny implied to Adriana Lee, but there's a lot of reflection that's occurred. Again, I think that she's wrong for extorting him, but I also think that, like, she built her entire career, basically, as far as I've been told, off being, like, the person who got popular in that sector of the internet without fucking Destiny, which obviously came to a screeching halt when people from fucking Kiwi Farms ID'd who she was.
Right.
So
Yeah,
it doesn't feel she can come back, which I don't... To be honest, this is probably a good thing in disguise as a horrible.
She was never.
For context, after this, right? Did she delete her Twitter? Did she private her Twitter? Something happened, right? She's basically completely gone offline. I don't think she's going to be appearing in streams with Destiny anytime soon. And so far as I'm aware, I haven't seen any public statements from her since this happened. Private, okay.
Really there to begin with.
She was never gonna have a successful career.
Yeah.
So her walking away with a big fucking hush money settlement here is probably best case scenario for her. And she probably realizes that to some capacity.
Bad case scenario for everybody else, though, who this continues to happen to, because this will happen again.
She's not the only girl whose nudes got leaked.
If there's anything interesting, link me at
Or
Discord.
guy.
Or guy.
But that creates a huge discourse. And you have to also take into account that even though the extortion could have occurred with this one particular person, if this story does blow up, we're going to hear a lot more names from people.
That's true.
Guaranteed. Those people are going to talk about it. And I hate to give Mr. Girl a W, but he described Destiny as like a fucking or whatever.
He did, but I don't think he got a W for that. I think what he actually did.
I don't think he gets a W. I think he took it way too far. But I think people are going to start to reflect back on that and steal bits and pieces of his talking points and use them effectively.
Maybe. I think the problem with Mr. Girl is that he tried to make himself into a victim, and he made the whole thing just easily sweepable as like...
Oh, he's not going to get credit for it. But they are going to look at his document, and they're going to drag some talking points out there that are usable.
There is an interesting development from this conversation, though, which I want to point out. If Chud knows this, and you know this, and I know this, and it is a wonder that it hasn't been made public yet.
Yes.
Okay. This is
I mean, I don't think
effectively...
Chud's going to make this mistake the second time.
This is effectively swirling around, right?
Yep.
This is in the public sphere. So...
Well, we need to see what happens. I don't know for a matter of fact if she's taken the money. And if she's taken the money, then that's it. She's not going to... I'm sorry, that's it. I'll tell you what I told Chud.
Okay.
If she takes the money, we'll hear about it in 2 years. If she doesn't take the money, we'll hear about it in a month. That was my stance. Because this is never going... She could take all the money she wants or whatever. Every drama YouTuber... Not every drama, but most drama YouTubers know about this. And I would not put it past her to take the money and then come back a couple later. I think it'll inevitably come out.
Can you tell me who knows about this?
It's literally just... I showed it to Augie, I showed it to Tom, and Chud told me. So
everybody who was in
my core
that
sector
call
knows. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why Augie's been fucking chewing. He's like a fucking dog, a rabid animal. He's just fucking waiting. He's been preying on this forever. Okay. So he's extremely excited to talk about it. But again, he's in the same position as me. Dude, you have to handle these things tactically, because if you don't handle them tactically, you're leaving.
Okay, just to confirm, Sick was right from what I'm seeing. Pixie has not okayed this. So Sunday is technically kind of coming forward without Sunday is coming forward without Pixie's approval.
leaving yourself open for like a massive thing. And Destiny is not somebody who you can just swing at. That is the worst possible person to go and like, unless you have everything I's dotted, T's crossed, there's no way to go after him.
Yeah.
But we're not helping him. Nobody's sticking our necks out to help him.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I noticed LonerBox even said something yesterday. Or this
well, I mean, you know why LonerBox said that, right?
well, he's been talked about on Kiwi Farms recently.
Oh, you don't know.
What happened?
He's dating Pixie.
Oh, I knew about that. I've known about that for a while.
And my question to Chud was, well, did he know? And I don't have an answer for that question. But I imagine Destiny's friend, he went to Israel. As far as I understand, he's completely pulled away from Destiny.
Well, I mean, it's a career disaster. Hey, here's a question for you. Do you know if people like Josiah and Pisco know?
I don't know them personally, so I don't know.
Can you do me a favor?
And I haven't told my I don't like using the term orbiters, but I haven't told all them yet either.
Okay. So this is like a you, Chud, Augie, Tom thing.
No, I thought there was a reasonable chance that you knew, and I figured I would fill in those blanks.
No, Pixie did not low-key won. Listen, thing is, Pixie didn't win. Okay.
Blanks.
I'll let this finish.
Can I ask why?
I don't want you to think I'm a total scumbag.
No, I appreciate that. Can I ask why?
You were fair to me with the ICO thing, and you're around this community enough, and it probably clicked that you knew more, because I didn't think you'd talk about it if you didn't know about it.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, lots to think about. Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you let Chud know that we talked and what we talked about, just so I can talk to him and there's not like a wall there?
Sure.
I appreciate it. Okay.
I can't guarantee that he'll want to talk, but I can definitely tell him that we spoke and that you had the screenshots. You have more screenshots even than I have. So.
Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit about do we have like a admission from Steven? Is that a thing that we do have?
Give me a moment. Let me see.
You don't have to send anything to me.
I'm just reviewing.
Because that would be an interesting thing to report back, potentially.
I forgot how bad these were. I would struggle to read these and not see them as a de facto admission, just by the tenor of the conversation. But to put this into perspective.
Well, I just want to, I guess to leave off, I think on the day that this stuff does break, you're going to have reinforcements, but you probably won't until that point, unless something gives.
What was that last thing?
I forgot how bad these were. I would struggle to read these and not see them as a de facto admission, just by the tenor of the conversation. But to put this into perspective,
I think I think what he's reading right now is the DMs that we saw earlier. Okay, I've got no fucking clue how Six saw any of these. Okay, little quick recap. Okay, because especially since we first started, got a lot of new people in here. Right, so just a little bit of a big recap. Okay, and then I'm gonna go into, I guess, broader, just in case you don't know all of the context around this. It's fine if you don't. Right. By the way, if you like the stream, subscribe so you can chat. All right. I appreciate the donos. Donos are on. Alerts are on. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Yeah. Move your cursor down. Like the stream. There we go. Thank you very much. Okay. So, a few months ago, huge Destiny leak come out. Right. They're leaked to Kiwi Farms by somebody called, Solo Destiny Leaks. Right. A lot of these are Destiny performing sex acts on other people performing sex acts on Destiny, nudes of other people, that Destiny is shared with this Rose person, okay, who is basically some 19-year-old that Destiny has been, flirting with. Solo Tiny Leaks, that's it, thank you. They were in Queenman's server for a while. I think for a time they were in Chud's server as well. It's not really clear exactly who they are. They might be somebody. It's more established, okay? But that might be an alias. But, so far as we can tell, the most accepted kind of narrative right now is that they somehow hacked this Rose person's account, right? And managed to get these videos that way. Okay. Fast forward, these end up on Kiwi Farms. People are able to kind of identify who's who. There's a lot of memes about kind of speculating who's who, okay? One of the people who is confirmed is obviously Destiny's ex-wife, and then this girl that we're discussing here, Pixie. I guess behind the scenes, we don't really realise. We know that Pixie is not happy with this. She privates to Twitter. I think she basically just says, I'm not, something's been leaked against my consent, right? We didn't realise in the background, she was asking Destiny for money to basically compensate her for this, or at least to kind of learn his lesson. Destiny publicly has basically said nothing. Okay? Not a whole lot. Molina comes out and says that this is absolutely leaked without her permission. But, you know, it's not really sure if she means Destiny leaked it without permission or the leaker leaked it without permission, right? And that basically brings us up to now, okay? So, let's go into the full Sunday video.
I'm going to tell you a story about a man. It's a story. In this video, I'm going to tell you a story about a man. It's a story that has been replicated over and over and over.
Also, I want to say as well, so this is not a win for Pixie at all, okay? This video is absolutely not, right? This completely, whatever she was trying to do behind the scenes, right? This is completely fucked that. Destiny might not pay now, because he was basically being extorted, right? This draws way more attention to the leaks than before, because it just adds to the story, you know, adds to the controversy. This confirms the leaks, because now we have Pixie basically saying, he's leaked this, I want this and that, right? It confirms, as if we needed more confirmation, but there we are, from the horse's mouth, okay? It exposes that she's tried to extort Destiny, right? Which, I mean, kind of illegal, but okay. And then past this point, this kind of ruins her relationship with DGG, right? I'm pretty sure this could have been okay in the background. Now that this is all exposed, kind of can't have her on stream anymore. I doubt, which is her kind of only inroad to any kind of content creator space, right? So Destiny might not pay her. She might completely lose that now. There's not going to be any contracts or written agreements, right? At the end of the day, what she is doing is extortion. It's illegal. And then she's got no content creator connections now. This is, people might call it soy, right? Or sweeping for Destiny. But I understand why people are annoyed that Sunday's put out this video.
Government, in show business, in business boardrooms, restaurant franchises. This time, it's about a man with a small social media empire on YouTube. A man who uses his clout and his fame to lure mentally and financially vulnerable women from his community into sexual encounters. Encounters which he records and then, without their consent, shares with others. It's about how that man developed such a stranglehold over his community that no one, no matter how disgusted they are, will dare call him out for this.
Also, just to clarify, okay? So the call between Nick and Sunday happened after... Is it this one? Okay, fuck. I didn't realize Sunday was fucking devoting so much fucking content to this, okay? Never mind. I don't know when the fuck this call happened. It was after the New Year's Eve stream, okay?
Even when it becomes public knowledge. And most importantly, this is a story about power, and of how normal human feelings can be contorted to serve a machine to make a man immune to the effects of the abuse he has inflicted on an astonishing number of people. Stephen Bennell II, or as he's known online, Destiny, is a highly successful political streamer and content creator who has garnered infamy not just for public outbursts and controversial political positions, but also for an impressive number of public threats, sexual scandals, and even outright criminal actions. This recently culminated on November 29th.
Just for context as well, okay? If you don't know who Sunday is, okay? He's a guy who's disagreed with Destiny politically a lot, right? They've fought back and forth on a lot of this stuff, right? Very vociferously, very aggressively, right? So he is biased against him, but he also does happen to think he's a really particularly slimy individual. So just give him both sides, okay?
9th of 2024, when an anonymous Discord and Kiwi Farms user going by the name Solo Leaks published a large repository of private messages and pornographic images and videos of Destiny with various men and women to Discord and Kiwi Farms, recordings that Destiny had shared to strangers without the consent of the people in them. It's important to note that this is not the first time that Destiny has been the subject of a large sexual scandal involving non-consensually leaked intimate material. All the way back in 2012, Destiny was caught up in a scandal involving a competitive StarCraft 2 player called Blue T, who had tweeted out a photo of his genitals. This was in retaliation for Destiny previously leaking nude images of her to his friends on Skype, wherein he laughed at how, quote-unquote, fucking hideous her face was compared to her, quote-unquote, beautiful.
Okay, so for context, if it wasn't clear already, this happened decades ago. But this kind of sets a pattern of behavior, right? And this has all been public. None of this is new, right? This has been known for years.
Full body. In 2021, Destiny had a romantic entanglement with a YouTube streamer named Anna Voir. Anna would go on to become known for insisting, often tearfully, that she was actually in a long-term romantic relationship with Destiny, which Destiny denied, painting her as crazy to his audience. It was later revealed that in fact, while Destiny was insisting to his audience that Anna was insane, he was actually sexting her the entire time, and referring to her with terms such as princess in their conversations. Anna threatened to post these sexually charged texts to prove that she wasn't crazy and that this was all actually taking place. And in retaliation, Destiny threatened in public to leak her nude photos if she did so.
Like if you and I had like sexted or something or traded nudes and you were like, I'm gonna leak your nudes, and I go, fuck you, if you leak my nudes, I'm gonna leak your nudes. Is that like blackmail or is that like abusive? I disagree.
So do you think that leaking sexting and leaking nudes is proportional, or do you think it's a proportional response in the way that you're reacting to that?
I think it's about proportional. Because you're leaking like
So, okay, I haven't seen the stream before. Okay, so Anna threatened to leak Destiny's sexting with her, basically kind of to disprove what Destiny was saying on stream at the time, that she's just some crazy lady who is like stalking me. Like, he called her his stalker, right? This was a huge fucking thing that went on. He was talking about this on stream. This was a huge public drama, okay? And to refute that fact, she threatened to, I guess, leak the texts where he's sexting with her to prove he's saying all this about me on stream while he's sexting with me. And then Destiny threatens to leak her nudes in retaliation.
sexual material and shit from another person. Yeah, fuck it. I think it's proportional.
Destiny has also at least once admitted to accidentally sending homemade videos of him and his wife to people who his wife did not in advance approve of, in accordance with a previous agreement that he wouldn't.
Me and Molina had a conversation about, there were a few girls we talked to, it was like, oh cool, like we should record videos of like us fucking shit and send it to people, like it's fun. I kind of like have like my little archive of like Coomer material that I'll send to people if I want to. There were girls that I talked to past that I'd send stuff of like either me or me and Molina, and Molina talked to me and she was like, hey, if you're gonna send any videos to new girls that we haven't talked about, like let me know that first. Because she wanted to be careful. And so I was like, oh, okay, sure, that's fine. I didn't think about it at the time because I didn't think it mattered. But for the first thing, like, okay, yeah, I should have like checked 100% with Molina, but like this.
Other examples of threats and sexual misconduct made by Destiny are plentiful, but the general point is this: Destiny has a very bad history when it comes to.
So it seems like from this, Molina did know that Destiny was sent to other people, and it seemed like there was at least some kind of implied consent. But he wants her to confirm if he's going to send it to new people.
Sharing intimate material of people that he is sexually involved with without their consent, and of using the threat of their release to keep people in line. If this brings a certain Diddy to mind, you are not alone. Like with Diddy, when people speak out about Destiny's misconduct, the responses vary from silence to dismissal to outright threats of exposing their intimate information and media. Unlike with Diddy, these aren't just allegations. We have the receipts. In 2023, Destiny's wife Molina publicly separated from him. In response, Destiny went on stream and indicated multiple times that he was confident that Molina would not leak any unsavory details about the relationship to the public because he too had compromising information on her and logs that would seriously harm Molina's reputation if they were revealed. Whereas, since his reputation around relationships was already so low, he would be effectively immune to the consequences.
Why do you think that she isn't going to leak or talk shit? Molina will not leak or talk shit about any of this because she knows that everything about this makes her look like a f***ing satanic demon. She knows that. She's threatened it a million times, like, I'm going to start leaking everything. Oh, yeah, let's go. Okay, if you really want to, holy f***, because my reputation is already zero in regards to our relationship. Everybody thinks I'm a horrible piece of shit. We want to start leaking shit, we can do it.
Fast forward to November 2024. Due to the solo leaks, it has come to light that Destiny has been sharing intimate private messages, nude images, and pornographic videos with a 19-year-old OnlyFans creator called Rose, who he was sexually interested in at the time. Rose leaked these to a
That is an insane... Jesus, that's an insane fucking username. Okay.
Discord and Kiwi Farms user called Solo Leaks, who may, for all we know, be Rose herself, who then published them to Discord and to Kiwi Farms. These leaks included intimate romantic and sexual DMs between Destiny and Lord Southern, who Destiny had long denied being romantically involved with while she became increasingly present in his public personal life and on stream, despite being publicly at odds with each other politically on the surface. Destiny even once described her activism as involving, quote-unquote, drowning refugees. These DMs revealed that in fact...
I think, I could be wrong, I think what Sunday's referencing there was said in the context of a joke. to be fair.
Destiny and Lauren Southern had been mutually declaring their love and admiration for each other, including expressing intentions to separate from their respective partners to marry each other. All of this was happening behind the scenes, despite Destiny publicly claiming to his audience that he and Lauren were not involved, and while he was publicly accusing his wife Molina of lying and of being controlling privately when she would express displeasure about the relationship and when she requested that Destiny stop associating with Southern. In addition to these leaks, which not only severely compromised Lauren Southern's career and personal life, but also established that Destiny was lying when he accused his wife of being delusional and controlling about the affair, Solo Leaks also published a massive dump of revenge pornography, which featured various sexual encounters with numerous men and women that Destiny had recorded and sent to Rose as part of their flirtations, which incidentally include references to how he recorded other people not included in the dump, including a recording of a sexual encounter with someone he met on the gay dating app Grindr with no mention of having alerted this person to the fact that they were being recorded. Note, it is a felony to record sex acts without consent in the state of Florida. So to recap, Destiny, who has a long history of threatening associates, friends, and family with public humiliation and exposure through releasing revenge pornography and intimate messages, actually did leak a tremendous quantity of compromising, sexually humiliating messages, images, and videos featuring other people to at least one person without their consent. These were then publicly leaked, and there were...
Okay, so just to confirm, I'm just checking this. I don't know if there's any direct corroboration that it was Straighterade who leaked a lot of this, right? The claim that it was Straighterade who leaked this seems to be speculation, based on the fact that she has the most direct connection with Pixie. So it kind of seems like that would make the most sense for how this got out, but it's not actually confirmed.
The reaction has been total silence. Nothing. Historically, Destiny has always been boldly willing to threaten leaking private intimate material, such as during his separation from his wife, or to expose nude images to retaliate against women he was slandering, like Anna, or even just for the sheer
This vid contains the Straighterade leaks?
pleasure of it, as in the case of Blue Tea mentioned earlier, where the only purpose was revenge. This time, however, somehow, there is nothing. Not by Destiny, nor by anybody else. No streams, no video exposés, no tweets by any notable figures denouncing what is an obvious massive breach in ethics and consent. Nothing. Which begs the question, why? Why is everyone being so silent about something that by all rights should be a massive sex and abuse scandal about one of online politics' biggest and most controversial figures? As I said at the beginning of this video, this is not just a story about a man, but about power and how power works. And it's not a story that is new.
Okay, so Chud knows who sent this on to other people. But I guess he's not going to confirm. Well, I guess he's probably not going to get one kind of roped into all of this. I don't think he's very happy with. He's not very happy with Nick that Nick shared it. And so, yeah.
At the center of this scandal is a concerted effort by Destiny's friends, associates, and community to conceal and hide his wrongdoings by any and all means. This includes deleting any mentions of the leaks on Discord and Reddit, obfuscating the issue by acting as if the leaks only contain private sexual behaviors and therefore aren't anyone else's business, or even offering money to the victims in exchange for their silence. Now, if one were to say that the creators around Destiny were simply remaining silent about this scandal in order to continue to capitalize on their friendship with Destiny and have access to his audience, this would be a misleading oversimplification. Some people are doing that for sure, and some people in fact are even going out of their way to run interference to protect Destiny from the consequences of his actions. But this is not a story about the nefarious deeds of evil men and women, but about power. And it turns out that in fact a lot of people are simply afraid of what they have a moral right or a public sanction to say given the sensitive nature of these leaks, and afraid of the retribution of Destiny and those in his audience if they say something that angers him.
This seems to be true. I mean, this is what Nick confirms basically in the call, right? Nick is both worried about what the backlash is going to be. Nick is both kind of worried about what the backlash is going to be if he comes out and then Pixie denies it, especially if she's getting money, basically to say, to be kind of quiet about this stuff. He's also, worried about doing it if it's against her consent, for all the reasons I went into earlier.
Very large creator in YouTube commentary called Nicholas DeOrio Disgusted at the obvious sexual abuse and public coercion he was witnessing coming from Destiny and his defenders, and frustrated by the fact that people were beginning to lump him in with the others who were actively covering for Destiny, reached out to me directly to clarify why he was not being more vocal. He told me that, due to the sensitive nature of the material, despite being very confident about Destiny's guilt, he was very conflicted about coming forward against Destiny on behalf of the victims in this story without them voluntarily coming forward first. This was for two reasons. First, Destiny has a history of persuading his victims to come to his defense during a scandal. This happened once when a creator called Mr. Girl infamously attempted to accuse Destiny of lying about his relationship with Anna Voir. And in response, Destiny produced recent DMs between himself and Anna in which he got her to say that her own quoted claims against Destiny were false. And here it is notable that the fact that these DMs were between the alleged abuser and his victim did not seem to affect their credibility in the eyes of his audience. And second, because of Destiny's ability to use his hold over his massive audience to deal serious reputational and financial damage to people who he feels have slighted him. Nicholas refers explicitly here to the reputational damage Destiny inflicted on another commentary YouTuber called Chud when he was approached by Destiny's now ex-wife Molina to give her side of the story about the Lawrence Southern affair.
So, I mean, I've privately told everybody I'm completely distancing myself from this guy, waiting for this bomb to go off, but I don't want to be the one to fucking light it. But, I mean, I feel stupid. I sent Destiny, like, a message of support at the beginning of this.
Really?
Like, it's about his dick getting leaked, not about this part of it. Like, oh, it's a shame that your fucking dick got leaked or whatever, which I guess is still valid.
I didn't realize how bad it was initially. I thought the big thing was the Lawrence Southern leaks. I thought, oh, he's got sex tapes. Okay. Surprise, surprise.
Well, in the back of my head, I was thinking, why would all these people consent to their fucking nudes being exchanged?
Well, the answer
why
is
would
they
that
wouldn't.
even happen? They would absolutely not. They absolutely wouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I haven't really been able to talk about this with anybody because I'm at like a fucking, it's a huge risk to even discuss it. Because this guy's got such a chokehold over his community. But I legitimately think, if it ever comes up, I absolutely think that's career-ending, and I don't think that could be defended. And if it can be defended by his community, it would fucking completely destroy... I mean, yeah, his reputation...
No, I don't think he's such a bonal dick sucker, alright? I think Nick is fair here. I think Nick is fair.
...to the toilet, it could be lower.
It could be. It's also... It's in the toilet with people who care to know.
Yeah, no, I think this is a viral... everyone's story, video, like community-wide story. If this cover-up ever comes out,
what specifically would have to happen to trigger some kind of, determinate position on this in public for you?
I mean, I'll be super candid about it. You would need to talk.
Yeah, would you have to talk publicly, or do you just have to see it?
No, I think I've already seen it. I think she needs to talk publicly because if anything, if it comes down to it, and Destiny convinces her privately to take that other, look what happened with Chud and Lawrence Southern. He had Molina coming to him and telling him these things directly. And he was put in a position where he can either eat shit and be hated by that community and lose a huge percentage of his audience to the point where I had to pick up the other half of the slack and like help him out, right? To keep him afloat. Or he could just leak those messages and be justified immediately and it would start like a huge conflict. And he did the right thing by loyalty, but like, you know what I mean? It's like, if you don't have the person, then it's you fighting on behalf of somebody else. And I've seen this go down so many times with content creators where if they don't have the support of the actual victim in the situation, you're fighting a losing battle from day one.
So principally your concern is that you're going to take a pretty big financial / audience hit if you were to do this.
I think there's a genuine risk that I'm going to get left out to dry here. Because if she doesn't say anything, or even worse, if she comes out and says it's not true, then I
think this is totally fair from Nick. I think this is totally fair.
A lot of people who would otherwise potentially be ready to support the victims of Destiny's systemic abuse of female and male colleagues are stuck between wanting to call foul on some truly reprehensible behavior and the realization that if they did, there are so many ways to spin them as the villains through Destiny's further manipulation of the victims and of his massive following. Two particularly aggressive defenders of Destiny have been NotSoErudite and Dan Saltman, who are both colleagues and close members of his inner circle. Both have gone out of their way either to dissuade attempts to bring up the issue of Destiny's non-consensual sharing of intimate material of other people publicly, or to directly discourage his victims from speaking out or taking legal action. A major consequence of Destiny's silence and the silence of the people around him on this issue is that all of the negative consequences for these leaks have been borne by the victims, who are still being publicly shamed and harassed as I speak. However, faux concern for their well-being and their wishes to remain as anonymous and private as possible has been used to shut down any discussion where Destiny might be held responsible for endangering them in the first place. The perverse result is that Destiny's crimes against these people are effectively being weaponized as their own defense against others who would call him out for them. For example, when one community member known as Fairy Queen questioned NotSoErudite's continued association with Destiny, given the revelation that he had been sharing porn of people he streams with without their consent, and given NotSoErudite's own avowals of being a mental health expert and a feminist, NotSoErudite claimed that she was in communication with the victims behind the scenes and that they didn't want any additional attention, and so therefore, NotSoErudite was actually
These messages take on a completely different tone now.
doing the moral thing by not holding Destiny accountable for victimizing them in the first place and for personally continuing to profit from.
God, especially when she's like behind the scenes trying to, I guess, essentially negotiate with Pixie about how much money she will accept to basically never speak about this, right? These take on a completely different tone. And then she's accusing another woman of not being a feminist. Okay. I mean, at this point, fucking Erudite is completely bought and paid for. She's got nothing outside of DGG. She's got a really cushy fucking position with Destiny. And if she lost that association...
from the reputation of Destiny by whom she was employed. When pressed on this, NotSoErudite promptly terminated the conversation. But it turns out that
I am not an extension of Steven. You are not a feminist. One second, have I got the tweets here? I am not an extension of Steven, she says. Meanwhile, literally negotiating with Pixie about how much she wants. You have a specific thing you want now, which is for him to lose a certain amount of money. My understanding was this was more of a sense of rehabilitation and justice. I'm not an extension of Steven. You're not a feminist.
NotSoErudite was telling the truth when she said she was communicating on behalf of the victims, because as it turns out, she
These are texts between Erudite and Pixie, yes.
was from very early on the primary middleman negotiating the price of their silence. Enter Pixie. Pixie is a tiny streamer who, like Destiny's wife Molina, was visually identifiable in the leaks. Pixie had been working closely with Destiny since she turned 20 years old in 2019, and in addition to appearing on stream together regularly, Destiny also got her involved in...
So she used to be her own, like, private streamer, right? She wasn't just in Destiny's sphere. She used to be, like, her own thing. In, like, a teeny tiny little kind of, like, Twitch politics streamer. She only really got big, able to get on these podcasts and so on and so forth, because of their association. Because of her association with Destiny.
In paid positions organizing for canvassing projects, like with Progressive Victory, who he partnered with in 2024, and she would accompany him multiple times to large podcast appearances, such as the Whatever podcast, which he would pay for her to be flown out to. Pixie had, for a very long time, repeatedly tried to present herself as an example of a woman who could succeed as a part of Destiny's orbit, without being a member of his oft-rumored harem of women who...
I always find posts like these funny, because Destiny literally had a reputation of having a harem for a while. April of last year.
Who offer him sexual favors in exchange for exposure and stream time. In light of these leaks, that image has obviously been shattered.
Pixie says, "Why would you lie about me sleeping with Destiny? Was there anything I said that gave you that idea? I'm not gonna lie, I'm supremely pissed right now, and just want to make a good faith attempt to trying to figure out what was in your head before I explode. Lol." Lav says, "Oh, I didn't mean to lie. I thought it was public. I can rewrite the record. I can't rewrite the record. I apologize. I thought you guys had a public relationship." Pixie says, "No, I never did anything with Steven. The most he's ever sent me was like a emoji. And I've gotten that from plenty of men and women. That's why I want to know who would tell you that who would tell you that, so I can confront them. Or if you got me confused with somebody else, maybe." Lav says, "I think I may have. I really am so sorry. I just publicly said I was wrong. Seriously, I am sorry."
And she has received the brunt of negative reactions to the scandal, since people who hate Destiny and hate the politics of the
Could that have been accurate at the time? Maybe.
people in his group are eager to laugh at the hypocrisy of one of them, even if it means joining in the mass harassment of someone who is in fact a victim of revenge porn. Unfortunately, Pixie did the worst thing that someone in
I mean, you say no, but I genuinely have no clue when that screenshot is actually from, so...
her position could do. Rather than seek legal recourse or make a public statement denouncing the violation of her consent and dignity that these leaks represented, she seems to have ultimately chosen to try and profit from the situation by extorting Destiny.
Listen, if you want to send me fucking, like, the timeline, right, and something to corroborate it, put it in the Discord, okay? I'll link it now.
An American citizen who finds themselves a victim of revenge pornography has several valid actions they can take. Let's go over 3. First, they can seek legal recourse. In fact, there is a federal law on the books as of 2022 that allows victims of non-consensual exchanging of explicit material to be compensated up to $150,000, and that's...
Do we know the timeline of the sex tape? I don't know. I guess from the leaks that we've got so far, the date kind of puts it, at least before he sent it to that girl, right? That Rose person.
Even if the leaks were not necessarily done maliciously, but only with reckless disregard for the consent of the victims. The victims may even have their identity concealed. Second, they may make a public statement denouncing the person who leaked the materials and violated their consent. And in fact, this can be done in conjunction with the first option I mentioned. And finally, they can choose to do nothing. They can stay silent and hope that it all blows over. And this is their right. But Pixie did not do any of these. In an exchange that I have learned has since been circulated among the entire commentary community on YouTube and virtually everyone in Destiny's circle, NotSoErudite can be seen haggling with Pixie over the amount of money that would be appropriate for Destiny to pay her to not involve the court system or to denounce him publicly. First.
Whoa, okay, she's scrolling through them. Okay.
Appropriate for Destiny to pay her to not involve the court system or to denounce him publicly. First.
This is way more leaks than we've got before. Not yet. Coleman cancelled. Is there anything you're hoping to be brought
Pixie
up?
uses the implicit...
I think I'm trying to decide my next course of action of what to do with myself and him based on how that conversation goes. Unless you decide you don't want to talk to him, that's okay too. Basically, I've planned / course of action paused, and we'll choose something depending on if he agrees. He has to make up / repent for the action and wants to work with me to find a way to do that, or if he doesn't feel that way. I don't want to talk to him myself, because I feel like I tried explaining what I already feel, and he doesn't really understand. I also have a little anxious voice in my brain telling me to prepare for the worst, because he probably won't care, or doesn't care enough to willingly make up for his mistakes. And that means I'll have to start thinking about more extreme
threat of her impending suicide and a scheduled note announcing
/ nuclear options to deal with, but I'm trying to avoid spiraling down that line of thought, because I'm trying to hold out for hope. Also, and just not to scare you, I'm 100% not going to do anything to myself, no matter what he says during holiday season, because I don't want to traumatize my friends during a time that's supposed to be happy. And even if he responds negatively, it doesn't mean I'll auto-kill myself. I'm trying to contemplate all different courses of actions, including going public, and then I can't take the amount of humiliation, then killing myself, versus my plan before of scheduling a note of, Jesus, scheduling a note for after I die. I'm also still looking into lawyers, but I don't want to see what he says. I just want to see what he says before deciding any nuclear option.
It to pressure Destiny to pay out.
Can I share this with Steven? He communicated with me, he knows he fucked up. But the sweepery! Can I share this with Steven? He communicated to me, he knows he fucked up. There is no excuse at all, and doesn't know what he can do for you to make it up. I'm trying to bridge between and help him understand what would make you feel that he understood he was wrong and should never do this again. Or better, what can I share with him? You can share this with him. Anything you want with him. You can share this and anything you want with him. I feel like when we talked, you really understood where I was coming from and can hopefully explain this better than I can.
Out a significant sum of money, and then later switches.
Gotcha, thanks. Not sugarcoating anything. Not sugarcoating anything about where you're at. I think what we talked about as what you needed. Help removing the video from online. Can't really happen, not from Kiwi Farms. Getting the guy who hacked charged doesn't help her at all. A sense that Stephen understands how in the wrong he was, and a plan to prevent this from ever happening again.
Just two vague threats of public denunciation.
Pixie says yes, the only problem is number 3, because even with the removal of the video and getting that guy hacked charged, Stephen still has to face consequences proportional to his actions. I want this to be the most expensive mistake of his life. Yep.
And legal action. Meanwhile, behind the scenes...
Whoa, this is the end. Fuck. Yeah, okay. So that is what you want to pursue. It wasn't clear to me that this is what you wanted specifically. My understanding was it was more a sense of rehabilitation and justice. This is where it comes from. Okay. So what? Erudite? Oh my god, she's literally a go-between between this girl who doesn't feel like Destiny understands her and Destiny. And she's talking about this and just listing out all the things she wants. All the things she wants. She mentions there about getting some kind of like, you know, well, monetary damages from Destiny. And then what? Kyla's like, very softly, I think you could probably argue, pushing back on that. She sends a text. She gets no response. Big pause. Second text.
Meanwhile, behind the scenes, her friend Straighterade was
She's not an extension of Destiny, though, by the way.
alluding to advise Destiny to offer to help her financially as penance to stave off her threats of self-harm. A situation that would obviously be a reputational disaster for Destiny. Note, Straighterade has also explicitly said that she did not consider the situation serious enough to warrant a wellness check. As revealed in earlier DMs between Pixie and Destiny prior to this conversation with NotSoErudite, Pixie and her friend Straighterade had used the specter of her impending suicide to alarm Destiny enough that he would be receptive to suggestions of financial compensation. Apparently, Pixie was hopeful from the beginning that she could get as much as...
Okay, if she did that, which I doubt, that would be incredibly misleading. She's wanted an incredible amount of money from the start. And I've repeated, but gently told her that she will not get the sum she wants. There is no legal basis for her getting a $1 million payout, which she repeatedly discussed with me.
As a $1 million payout from Destiny, which Straighterade had to repeat.
These were messages Kyla and Pixie exchanged on the 18th of December. Kyla was telling Pixie she would talk to Stephen IRL about the whole ordeal, and then said scheduling issues prevented the conversation. Okay, this feels like it would be top priority. No. Okay. She also said every time she tried to ask for details via messages, he's not engaged. She? Who does she mean by she here? Why do people use pronouns so fucking often? Use the fucking names. But I think that's a lie, obviously. And as for context, Pixie wanted to sue for a lot of money. Literally $1 million. But I told her that amount isn't realistic.
Repeatedly talk her down from. The condition of this financial compensation is, of course, Pixie's continued silence. This would seem to imply that Pixie's decision to not go public is not because she is afraid of the repercussions, or else she wouldn't be threatening Destiny directly with legal action or public denunciations, but because she wants to profit personally off of extorting Destiny, who also, it must be remembered, is a victim of revenge porn. Destiny may be the one responsible for the leaker having the images in the first place, but he shared them recklessly, not maliciously. And of course, he has endured public humiliation.
Oh, okay. Cool. So they're from 2023. The text conversation with Lav, when was that?
As well for this. Destiny's close friend and podcast co-host Dan Saltman, the CEO of Redact, had also reportedly gone behind Destiny's back to advise Pixie to make financial demands of Destiny, as well as to ask her to dissuade Destiny from taking legal action.
Nice. Kyla's being snaky about this. Even Straighterade. Oh, she knows. Okay. Pixie contacted her and was kind of trying to use her as liaison. I told her Kyla can't be trusted to help with that. Dan contacted Pixie a couple of weeks ago as well. According to what she said, he basically said, ask Steven for a reasonable amount of money. You'll probably pay it. Plus, wanted her to convince him not to take legal action against Kiwi Farms, which he's considering.
Action against Kiwi Farms.
Destiny's considering legal action against Kiwi Farms. I don't know how... okay.
For hosting the leaks. Pixie has since said nothing publicly. There has been no evidence of legal proceedings being pursued, and she has seemingly ceased communications with the people she was previously working with, instead posting on X about taking the LSAT in pursuit of law school. It appears as though her attempt to extort Destiny has probably paid off, albeit at the expense of every other person Destiny has victimized in the past and will victimize in the future. And so we can see the circuit completing itself.
Remember, okay, this might make this slightly more ironic. Didn't Destiny donate to Kiwi Farms to keep them up during the Keffels debacle? He's had problems with them in the past. His thread is incredibly old, and he's basically publicly feuded with Joshua Moon before, but he came out in defense of them during the whole Keffels debacle. A little bit ironic that he's now considering suing them for hosting these leaks.
Destiny seeks out vulnerable women in his community who are enamored by his fame and success. He engages them intimately and records the interactions. Then
Null said he will send anything to the police, so he definitely could take legal action on Kiwi Farms users, not Kubi Font himself, okay?
He hoards these recordings and he shares them with reckless abandon, even occasionally threatening their release if the people in them do something to displease him. And when finally, the obvious result of recklessly sharing these intimate images with strangers occurs and they are publicly exposed for all to see to the detriment of these people's reputations, mental health, and safety, he is able to buy off his victims and use their purchased silence as moral ammunition to shut down anyone who would try to hold him accountable for what is clearly grossly unethical conduct. Destiny?
Excellent point, hater. Oh my god. Okay. What? 70 viewers on the stream? How many likes we've got? Only 29. What's going on, guys? Okay. If you could move the cursor down, just click the like button. Move the thumb down. Cover it. Okay. This is an emergency stream. I wasn't expecting to go live. Well, certainly not, until like 6. So, I appreciate it. I appreciate the support for doing this, okay? Literally went live as soon as I kind of heard about this stuff. I got pinged, okay? The TTS donation, that's pinned as well, okay? If you want to be part of the VOD, okay? You can put your message there. $5 TTS. That's so fucking cheap. It'll get displayed on screen for only $1, okay? Totally up to you, but I appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And the web he has created around himself is creating victims. And if it is allowed to continue, it will create more. I urge everyone to pay attention and to warn people about the danger they are putting themselves into by engaging with Destiny and his community. These are people who have been handpicked for their willingness to not just remain passive in the wake of intimate and potentially life-ruining abuse, but to also become accomplices in silencing the victims. And the victims are also selected, either for mental illness, allowing them to be easily construed as hysterical or deceptive when they complain about their treatment, or for financial vulnerability, allowing them to be easily paid off by Destiny for their silence. Thanks to certain individuals revealing to me the extent to which people are knowingly allowing or even actively taking part in the system of abuse and cover-up, I have realized that by withholding what I know of the situation, I am playing directly into Destiny's game. Someone needs to break the chain, or people are going to continue to be hurt. I've linked my full conversation with Nicholas DeOrio in the description of this video. As always, thank you for listening, and take care.
Okay. Seeing the recommended if there's anything there. No. Okay. There is also Beckett's video to go over. Okay? There's also Beckett's video to go over. Somebody just linked that to me. Okay. So he's fixed it now. I don't know what he had to take
Coming
down.
from NotSoErudite.
Oh my god. Okay. So Beckett's kind of been in the Destiny sphere in the past. I think he's got DMs with Destiny like a few times. So he's definitely been in and around Destiny's orbit. He used to be in the Twitch political thing.
You got dipped. Okay, bro, you're getting too big for your boots.
Thank you very much, Junkie. Appreciate it, thank you.
Those of you who have been following Destiny in his orbit for a while may have started to notice a rift forming.
Destiny can help you with the slandering. I'd rather not.
In late November, a leak occurred which revealed...
Wait, what? Wait, LonerBox's... Okay.
Okay. May have started to notice a rift forming.
Destiny can help you with the slandering. I'd rather not.
In late November, a leak occurred...
Okay, just for context, I went over this yesterday, okay? I don't know if people know about this. LonerBox is basically getting a load of shit right now from... basically, a lot of fucking, Israel-Palestine stuff, right? He's getting a lot of, harassment and, kind of smear jobs and stuff like that. He's basically taking a break from streaming because it's got so bad. Yeah, from Bad Empanada and Hassan and that kind of, sector of things, right? I didn't know about this, though, that he'd moved away from the Destiny sphere. Okay.
Which revealed, shall we say, a lot of Destiny's personal history. There has been massive speculation about the people involved in those leaks, whether the sharing of them was consensual, and people's both public and private reactions to them. What I have for you today is a breakdown of the conversation that occurred between President Sunday and Straighterade. This includes multiple DM leaks between the parties involved, and conversations of the general strategies being taken. But
wait, LonerBox and Pixie are dating? I'm not... Point me to a timestamp.
First, let me explain to you why I'm prepared to release these at all. When I went looking for these DMs, having heard about them on the grapevine from a couple of sources, I'll be honest, what I found was two separate individuals who had received them independently, and for one of them, they were pretty far down the chain. Now, people's level of knowledge involving these leaks is debatable. Though at this point, I will say, of all the people who aren't directly involved in these events, I probably have one of the fullest pictures. The story I want to tell you isn't really the story of Destiny. Rather, what I want to display is the machine that exists around him. Because, to be clear, that machine around him is already being exposed.
Hi everyone. So LonerBox has announced that he is quitting YouTube, and he gave a bit of an iffy answer for that. Like he said, it was in part because he was supposedly harassed and smeared by me and Hassan. But I actually found out the real reason just now, and it's that Destiny cucked him. His girlfriend cheated on him with Destiny.
And this...
Okay, when Banner said this, okay, so far as I'm aware, there is no confirmation of this, okay? Maybe we'll get into a confirmation in Beckett's video, okay? This seems like a lot of new information. I'm not aware of this.
This drip feed of information is causing so much speculation from everybody that regardless of what anybody's original intentions were, it has created more of an air of mystery, speculation, and interest than was ever needed. On November the 29th, 2024, President Sunday would reach out to Straighterade regarding the Destiny leaks and ask her to check in on Pixie, as even at that point, people were beginning to speculate that it was her in the images. They then begin discussing the situation and how best to move forward with informing Pixie, which leads to an hour-long call in which Sunday provides further context around the leaks themselves and other people Destiny may have been involved with. This also includes a conversation between Lav and Pixie, which occurred during point people were...
Okay,
on November the 29th.
So, I don't know if you followed this, but somebody dumped all the sex tapes that Destiny leaked on KF. I didn't look, but people are saying Pixie's done one. Maybe check on
2024.
Okay.
President Sunday would reach out to Straighterade regarding the death.
Okay. President Sunday says, it's a lot. Straighterade says, I just saw. What do I do? What if she's with a family? I don't want to send her that, and then she's in full-on panic and can't even be on her own. Voice call? As in, I should ask if she can talk. No, I mean, let's talk over voice. Game plan this. KK, give me a minute. So this is Straighterade. They call, okay, don't know where this has come from. Hey, I appreciate your messages truly. None of this is your fault, honestly. It's mine. I really enjoy your company. I've never engaged with a mind like yours. Okay.
Around the leaks themselves and other people Destiny may have been involved with. This also includes a conversation between Lav and Pixie, which occurred during the Mr. Girl saga, where Pixie denied sleeping with Destiny when confronted by Lav. Pixie would then go private, much to the frustration of both Sunday and Straighterade, both of them realizing that in some ways this was just a confirmation that it was indeed her to those who were speculating. Outside of these two, the wider rumor mill was obviously already spinning, with people reaching out to see what information or opinions other people had. There's obviously the additional factor of speculation regarding what other communities may know or be referring to when they're coming across general memes or comments. These conversations would continue for several days while they discussed the reactions from the wider community and online discourse. Picking back up on December 4th, President Sunday becomes concerned with Pixie's approach and tactics, noting that that's like every wrong decision she could make, now it's content. The concern generally being that this was only reinforcing people's opinions that she was the one in the leaks, and driving people to investigate deeper. Straighterade would describe this as Sunday preaching to the choir.
Just confirm, okay, we're talking about this, we're talking about the KF threads, okay? I am not encouraging people to go and look for them. I'm not encouraging people to go and dig them out or try and find them, okay? More and more. Just look at the documentation, alright? If you've already seen it, whatever. If you, of your own volition, want to go and see it, fair play. But I'm not directing anybody to that, okay?
Importantly, it was around this time that NotSoErudite would reach out to Straighterade. She asked how Pixie is doing, but then she asked if Pixie knew he took the video and if she consented to it being shared. I don't know why she'd even ask me that. My answer could be no on both counts, and she would not change a thing, lol. It's quite obvious that in the opinions of both Straighterade and Sunday, that NotSoErudite would be asking these things not out of concern for Pixie, but out of concern for Destiny, with a general feeling that regardless of what the answer was, Kyla's position wouldn't change a dot. Straighterade does also confirm that Pixie was aware of the recording at least existing, and that it had not been created without her knowledge. The conversation moves off this topic once again at this point, to the wider subject of Hassan and the Twitch war that was occurring at the time. Though it would come up again around the 1st when Straighterade brings up Fairy Queen leaving a comment on Kyla's most recent video. Erudite seemingly had been in contact with Fairy Queen asking her to take this comment down, or at least a section of it. Though it is worth noting that Erudite is openly talking about being in contact with the victims of the leaks and noting concern for them as the primary reason for its removal. As I'd like to do as little editorializing as possible here, I'll let it pass without much comment.
How did Sunday get these leaks? Oh, how did Beckett get these leaks? Well, him and Sunday have released videos on the exact same day, basically exact same time. I'd guess this was probably coordinated between them.
Though I would like to point out at this point that the leaks themselves and the silence around them had become such a fascinating topic that even Wick TV seems to recognize that this is obviously becoming a content item in and of itself.
Keep that in.
Okay. Kyla deleted my comment on her YouTube video. My comment criticized her decision to co-host with a well-known sex abuser in the community. Okay,
this is
more
obviously becoming a content item in and of itself.
Keep that in mind. It's an interesting question. Symposium Brain for $20 says Molina recently confirmed that the sex tapes leaked by Destiny's former girl were shared by Destiny without her consent.
Good one. Nice.
If she has no legal recourse.
I've got a whole bunch of super chats for you, Wick. Ready?
Okay. Did you not? Okay, fair enough.
Wick is a stinky butt. I think that's a #1 super chat.
At this point,
that is, even at the time, that was such an awkward clip. Oh my god.
Straighterade accuses Kyla of being snaky about this to President Sunday, explaining that Pixie and Kyla have been in contact, with NotSoErudite acting as a kind of liaison. It's also revealed that Dan reached out to Pixie as well. And from what Straighterade had heard, Dan encouraged Pixie to ask Destiny for a reasonable amount of money, as well as trying to get Pixie to persuade Steven not to sue Kiwi Farms. Straighterade would then provide Sunday with the DMs between NotSoErudite and Pixie.
So this is the confirmation. This is the confirmation. These are the message Kyla and Pixie exchanged. Kyla was telling Pixie she talked to... Yes, we've already seen that message. Okay.
And notes Pixie's original desire for a payout somewhere in the region of $1 million. So let me take you through the conversation between NotSoErudite and Pixie. Pixie, in blue, begins by reaching out to NSE asking whether she's had a chance to talk to Steven yet. NSE responds by asking if there's anything Pixie hopes was brought up. Pixie then explains that depending on how that conversation goes depends on what her next course of action will be, particularly based on whether Destiny feels like he needs to make up or repent for his actions. Timeline-wise, Pixie had already spoken to Destiny in what was...
Okay, this is... Hold up there, what's up? This is censored? By who? I'm not sure. It feels like it's hard for me to give you advice since I'm obviously implicated in everything, but I still want to say some of the following things. 1. Things die out surprisingly fast. Yeah, I guess he's already admitting it feels weird for him to say, okay? Things die out surprisingly fast. There might always be a couple of random losers online, but people move on to the next thing. And outside of some losers on Kiwi Farms and some irrelevant content people, who will fade away in a year or two, inevitably stuff fades away. There are people who were big online a few years ago that people can barely even find traces of. Stefan Molyneux is a good example. Awful example. People can barely find traces of. His stuff is everywhere. You still have every legal option available to you. You can always pursue stuff, and there are specific civil and criminal protections that even shield your name from being released. You can always do free consultation with litigation firms to check with stuff like that. For obvious reasons, you should take things down. Things I'm saying with a grain of salt, and pursue to check in all the things on your own. You've accomplished and done a ton of things in the past couple of years. When I met you a few years ago, you were yo-yoing like crazy between ultra-suicidal ideation thoughts and being hung up on a weird guy and feeling aimless after getting your college degrees. We've done a ton of work this year with PV. Tried to and survived in Miami all on your own. She moved there essentially for the DGG sphere, so far as I'm aware. Branched out into new content areas and made new friends across new communities. It would be super shitty not to follow through for a couple more years at least and see where you could continue to push things. Okay, he's admitting that it's kind of weird, that he's kind of given her advice. Fair play.
Was essentially a brief exchange of DMs. Pixie would also assure NotSoErudite that she was not a danger to herself at this time. Though a constant theme in Pixie's communications is this potential underlying risk that she may do damage to herself. NotSoErudite asks whether she can share this with Destiny, to which Pixie agrees, citing the fact she doesn't feel like he really understands her perspective, and it may be better coming from NotSoErudite. NotSoErudite pushes a little harder to work out exactly what it is that Pixie wants. She lists what she thinks are her goals. Help removing the video from online, getting the guy who hacked charged, a sense that Steven understands how in the wrong he was, and plans to prevent this from ever happening in the future. Here Pixie clarifies. What she wants is for this to be the most expensive mistake of his life. She doesn't list a dollar amount, nor does she want to make him destitute, but it should not be easily recoverable. NSC responds, my understanding was it was more a sense of rehabilitation and justice, but you have a specific...
In that message, it doesn't, I don't think... Okay, 1 second.
...yet. NSC responds to desire for a payout, so let me take you through a chance to explain.
Destiny actually talks about the money
in Pixie's. Pixie would also like he Pixie contact.
Nope, this is between Sunday and Straighterade. It flashed quickly. Where? Send me a timestamp. If you've got a screenshot, send me that, okay?
To the rehabilitation process. She goes on to explain that if Steven agrees, then great, that's an agreed course of action. But if not, then she will have to go through the court system to, as she puts it, figure this out. She goes on to note that Destiny has already alluded in DMs with her previously to financial compensation, though her concern is that he doesn't really understand the level of proportionality she is expecting from him. Kyla would then respond to tidy up the language, as in her view, it's not about punishment, it's about making sure that he is genuinely remorseful and changing his behavior. As she goes on to...
I don't know. Listen, okay, I'm not sure if that's true. I think Pixie has been wronged in this, but I don't think she's being honest when she says that this is just about Destiny learning that his behavior is wrong. Okay? I think she's probably being warned by Straighterade behind the scenes not to ask for money explicitly, or not to seem like she's extorting Destiny. So there are games being played on all sides here, okay?
To further clarify Pixie's position, with Pixie agreeing to the general gist. They go back and forth, with Kyla clarifying that you're not making me sad, other than like, I'm obviously sad my friend is hurting, and was hurt by our other friend. Pixie makes a final clarification.
Oh, okay, this is new. Okay, so this goes into some of the details with what Destiny offered. Okay, so this is cut off, I think. Would look like you're telling me he's comfortable with the idea of proportional penance and how that would look like. I just felt like he didn't understand when he said he would pay some bills for me, because that makes me feel like he's telling me, oh, I'm sorry that happened. Here's $200. Hope you feel better. Which I think really underestimates the gravity of the situation, to put it lightly, and somehow makes me feel like a cheap prostitute. But asking for $1 million, what does that just make you an expensive prostitute? Or it makes me feel like that's how severe he perceives his actions to be. But yeah, obviously, do whatever is most respectful towards you. Do you think it would be okay if I sent these messages to him, / is that something you're comfortable with?
Clarification that Destiny needs to understand the severity of the situation, and that paying some bills, which is a reference to her previous conversation with Destiny, isn't enough. With a final clarifier from Kyla that, I think he was worried you would feel he's paying you for your silence, but did want to help but didn't want to overstep. I think he is offering a lot more than you read it, but I totally understand why you read it that way.
Okay, look, both parties here want to sound like they are having a friendly chit-chat, okay? Pixie wants to sound like she's not trying to, like, get him for all he's fucking worth, right? Fucking grab him by the ankles and shake all his fucking coins out, right? Kyla wants to sound like she's not Destiny's representative, like she's not Destiny's fixer. But Pixie probably is trying to get as much out of this as she can. She feels wronged, rightfully so. And Kyla absolutely is trying to be Destiny's fixer. probably heard that this is not going well on Destiny's end, hence this message, okay?
Back in the conversation between Streamline and Sunday, Streamline notes that Pixie was discouraged by the lawyer she was talking to from pursuing this against Steven, and this had moved Pixie to wanting to go public as she didn't feel confident in any form of legal justice.
And she's discouraged from pursuing legal route after speaking to a lawyer who specializes in cybercrime / revenge porn, and they told her that the hacker is at fault legally, more fault legally than Steven, which is why she wants to go public about it. She feels like there's not going to be any legal justice and doesn't want him to get away with it. Also, Steven wasn't aware that Dan was contacting Pixie, from what she could tell. Probably not. Dan was saying to basically, Dan was basically contacting Pixie. We haven't seen the text, but they've been characterized as Dan is trying to tell her that she should get more money. Additional context. Pixie was saying that if her parents found out, she would kill herself. Sunday goes on to reinforce that Pixie does likely have a legal route open to her, and provides further information which Straighterade is to pass on to Pixie for her to consider. Sunday would then go on to ask whether there have been further conversations between Pixie and Kyla that he's not aware of, or between Pixie and Steven. These DMs, to put it simply, are Pixie confronting Steven and saying that she was going to write a note, making it clear what happened and what her feelings were, while emphasizing Steven's contribution to her current state of mind. Destiny then goes on to reassure her that she has a lot of life ahead of her, and that these leaks would pass given time. Finally, Destiny... Wait, was there a second there? Is that just the editing? Or is there a second where that blurring went?
Steven's contribution to her current state of mind. Destiny then goes on to reassure her that she has a lot of life ahead of her, and that these leaks would pass given time. Finally, Destiny makes an offer that if she requires any help with any bills or anything, then to let him know, so he can provide assistance, and it's one less thing for her to concern herself with. Straighterade goes on to share some DMs from Pixie, in which she laments the difficulty a legal case would present, at one point suggesting that in frustration she may get the same lawyer who works for Kiwi Farms. Conversation between Straighterade and Sunday once again returns to
okay. Fuck. The next stream I do will open with the Destiny allegations, now that they are public, sort of Nicholas Diorio. Obviously, I'm not stoked that I was recorded without my consent. I thought that Sunday was being a little bit Weasley with his words. But the glass half full perspective is that now this stuff is all out there in the public arena. I just want to be clear that any strong position I took in that call is not something I would proudly say on stream. That's precisely why I haven't, and why this call was recorded without my knowledge. I got access to one single screenshot a few days after the New Year's stream, which is not the type of evidence I would deem actionable. There has been significantly more revealed, and we will go through that on stream this week. I'm not going out of my way to force reveal of somebody else's story without the consent and participation. Half of that is self-preservation, and the other half is just basic morality. I fundamentally believe my job as a YouTuber is to read a Google document and give my thoughts, not to write it. Certainly not when I'm getting information from a source. Who has a source? Who has a source? Right, I understand.
The general topic of the leaks. For several days until the 8th of January, where Straighterade would share a copy of Pixie's statement regarding...
Okay, so kind of contrary to what he said earlier, President Sunday did not have consent. Apparently, he said that it had been recorded on both sides. I don't know if that's true, right? And he basically said that, he was asked if Nick knew it was being recorded, and he said it was being recorded on both sides. I can try and pull up the exact thing. That's very fucking sneaky, though. So it seems like Sunday's released this without Nick's consent, without Pixie's consent. Who has he released this with the consent of? I'd be surprised to know if Straighterade is fine that her screenshots have ended up in this. I doubt it.
These leaks, in which she states that the sharing of these images was non-consensual, and to her knowledge, she is the third person this has happened to. The timeline she provides is that this encounter occurred fairly early on in her online career. She also cites how she would pursue him in court, and that this would be a civil action. As this was clearly prepared for publication, she also...
Sunday's just reporting a crime that may have been committed. No, he's not. No, he's not. If he wants to report it to the police, fair play. He can do as he wishes. He's not reporting a crime that may have been committed. He's making a video to the public, okay? Completely different. Completely different.
Notes her GoFundMe and the fact that such a case would cost money and would need wider public support. She also, at least to some degree, verifies Straighterrade's earlier comments regarding Dan Saltzman, noting, "I have been told by a variety of people to not go public, most notably Destiny's anti-Twitch crusader, Dan Saltzman." Finally, she leaves off noting that Destiny has violated federal law in his transgressions against me. He has violated my consent and is directly responsible for the sexual abuse I have received. When pressed on the release how she would pursue him in court, it's the difficulty a legal case would present.
So I heard that Beckett had basically gone to change the video to censor who he got the leaks from. I wonder if this is exactly what it is. So he's not including the screenshot, maybe.
And Sunday once again returns to the until the 8th of January, where Straighterade would share a copy of Pixie's statement regarding these leaks, in which she states that the sharing of these images was non-consensual, and to her knowledge, she is the third person this has happened to. The timeline she provides is that
Let me read this out then. So this is her statement that she was going to go public with. Okay. On November 29th, I learned that the streamer Destiny had non-consensually shared pornographic content of me online. My dignity, peace of mind, and hopes for the future were stripped away in a mere matter of seconds, following the betrayal of somebody I previously trusted. To be clear, I'm the third person he has done this to. I hope to be the last. I will not be commenting on the experience of the other women he has hurt, as it is not my place or story to tell. I will, however, share my story in the hopes of preventing this from occurring again. I have known Destiny for around 5 to 6 years now, and often find him myself in heavy disagreement with him. Despite this, I do my best to see the positive side of all people, trying my hardest to spread positivity and create understanding where I can. Some people call this as a fault of mine. They claim I am naive and should be more careful. Those people are right. When I was 20, over 5 years ago, I was extremely sexually inexperienced and sheltered. I wanted to sexually experiment and was terrified that I'd somehow lead someone on or experience SA. Destiny, who I had multiple long conversations with regarding consent and boundaries, seemed like somebody I could put my trust in regards this avenue. So you can imagine my surprise when I discovered he'd sent pornographic content of me to a teenager without my consent. Yes, you read that right. Stephen Kenneth Bonald II sent pornographic content of me to a random 19-year-old e-girl Discord kitten who he'd never met before. Oh, but rest assured, he had many conversations on the phone with her, at least. This random girl, who I didn't even know existed until this mess, proceeded to share this content online. Not technically true. I do not understand why Destiny would hurt me in this way. I do not know what I did to deserve this. I do know what action I took. I do not know what action I took that could justify the violation of my consent and privacy to such a degree. I do not understand why Destiny would knowingly and willingly put me in a position where I would receive non-stop sexual abuse and harassment. His reckless actions in the pursuit of trying to impress a teenager he has never met using my body, my privacy, and me at my most vulnerable moments will haunt me forever. Okay, so, fuck. To be clear, okay, to give a little bit of commentary on this, this is not true, and I think she knows this is not true, okay? Because she knows that it was not. At least there's no evidence to say that it was the 19-year-old who shared this online, right? It was this solo Tiny Leaks person, right? That's the person who shared it. She knows that to be true. She knows that's the case. And yet she's still putting in this document as if the person who Destiny then leaked it to had then spread it around online, right? Highlighting Destiny's negligence, which isn't true, to be clear. Is not true, and she knows it's not true. Another thing of this is that this is the public statement that she's drafted, ready to send to Straighterade, because she's in talks with them. She's in talks with her, and she's saying how she's got legal advice, and she doesn't think she'd be able to take Stephen to court. Now, if her and Kyla were just talking as friends, why would she not mention that to Kyla? That she'd received legal advice that Destiny likely wouldn't be wouldn't be civilly liable for this. She wouldn't be able to sue Destiny for this. If this is just conversations between friends they're having here, why would she not mention that incredibly important piece of advice? We haven't got texts that she shared that. Why would she tell her that? If they're just gal pals, right, and she's just kind of confiding in how she feels about Destiny, right, maybe she wasn't ready. She was ready to tell Straighterade. What I'm saying is, it's true. What we can tell is that Straighterade doesn't just have a closer relationship, she has a different character of relationship, right? She doesn't want Kyla to know that she's got this legal advice because she knows that she's negotiating essentially with Kyla as Destiny's proxy. There we are. That's
a reference to her previous conversation with Destiny isn't enough. With a final clarifier from Kyla that, I think he was worried you would feel he's paying you for your silence, but did want to help, but didn't want to overstep. I think he is offering a lot more than you read it, but I totally understand why you read it that way. Back in the conversation between Streamline and Sunday, Streamline notes that Pixie was discouraged by the lawyer she was talking to from pursuing this against Steven. And this
okay, just to be clear, yes, she is friends with Destiny, okay? She's better friends with Straighterade than she is with Erudite. That's absolutely true. But she's clearly close enough friends with Erudite to say how hurtful this has been, and to go into some detail, so far as we can see, about her, like, suicidal ideation, right? So she's good enough friends with her to go into all of that detail, but she's not good enough friends with her to then share the developments of the case.
Had moved Pixie to wanting to go public as she didn't feel confident in any form of legal justice. Sunday goes on to reinforce that Pixie does likely have a legal route open to her, and provides further information which Straighterade is to...
Pixie wanted that. She was basically trying to use Kyla as a liaison. Okay, so it's confirmed here. Pixie is really dumb. You and I have to assume that if we deal with her straightly, she will make a very stupid decision. Probably, but even if convince her not to go the route she's currently planning, I consider that a win. Right now, she's thinking Twitlonger plus a GoFundMe for legal fees. Well, I do think some people hate Steven enough to open their wallets and donate to what could be a legal headache. I don't think it's a good idea because of how Pixie is. I'm guessing there she's referring to the suicidal kind of stuff. No one can lose sympathy faster for her, and Keffel's poisoned people's ability to be able to fundraise for stuff like that.
Pass on to Pixie for her to consider. Sunday would then go on to ask whether there have been further conversations between Pixie and Kyla that he's not aware of, or between Pixie and Steven. These DMs, to put it simply, are Pixie confronting Steven and saying that she was going to write a note, making it clear what happened and what her feelings were, while emphasizing Steven's contribution to her current state of mind. Destiny then goes on to reassure her that she has a lot of life ahead of her, and that these leaks would pass given time. Finally, Destiny makes an offer that if she requires any help with any bills or anything, then to let him know so he can provide assistance, and it's one less thing for her to concern herself with. Straighterade goes on to share some DMs from Pixie in which she laments the difficulty a legal case would present, at one point suggesting that in frustration she may get the same lawyer who works for Kiwi Farms. Conversation between Straighterade and Sunday once again returns to the general topic of the leaks, for several days until the 8th of January, where Straighterade would share a copy of Pixie's statement regarding these leaks, in which she states that the sharing of these images was non-consensual, and to her knowledge, she is the third person this has happened to. The timeline she provides is that this encounter occurred fairly early on in her online career. She also cites how she would pursue him in court, and that this would be a civil action. As this was clearly prepared for publication, she also notes her GoFundMe, and the fact that such a case would cost money and would need wider public support. She also, at least to some degree, verifies Straightrade's earlier comments regarding Dan Saltzman, noting, "I have been told by a variety of people to not go public, most notably Destiny's anti-Twitch crusader, Dan Saltzman." Finally, she leaves off noting that Destiny has violated federal law in his transgressions against me. He has violated my consent and is directly responsible for the sexual abuse I have received. When pressed on the release schedule of this statement, Straighterade shares a DM between herself and Pixie, where Pixie clarifies that she wants to talk to her lawyer first and send a demand letter, and based on his response to said letter, release it. I originally wanted to do it by next week, but seems unlikely. On January the 10th, President Sunday would approach Straighterade asking if there was any updates on the situation. She responded that she hadn't heard anything else, and she speculates that Pixie at this point may be annoyed with her.
Update? Nope. I haven't heard from her since the 8th. But she's been active, so she's just ignoring me. So this is after 2 days. We'll give it a couple of days. I'd like for her to update me. And she's kind of randomly, had been throughout this whole thing. But I think she's annoyed at me. If she continues to evade you, we need to assume she's been paid off. I told her gently to reassure her expectations with money. I told her gently to readjust her expectations with money that she would receive in any sort of settlement. Plus said the demand letter first wasn't a good idea. Nah, she would tell me if he settled. I don't know if that's true.
And just simply ignoring the messages. Though she assures Sunday that had Pixie taken the payoff, she would have been informed. It would then be on the 16th of January where Straighterade would once again reach out to Sunday, asking him whether he was aware of LonerBox's stream, in which LonerBox stated his intention to take a break from streaming, but more importantly, alluded to what happened.
It's a little bit frustrating that the psycho smear campaign against me has kind of succeeded, and it's basically all because of Hassan being willing to platform it, which is very annoying that you basically have to like suffer the consequences of someone else's stupidity, but is what it is. Someone else's failures as a human being. But that's not why I'm taking a break. That's just annoying, and it's something that I'll probably be able to work around by myself. But
within this live, LonerBox notes his frustrations with Hassan, but points out that the Israel-Palestine discourse and how he's being treated in regard to that content isn't his reason for leaving. The further allusions come when people bring up Destiny to him in his chat.
You've got Tiny to back you up, both. You make quite the team when you're together. No. What do you mean stop streaming? I'm not going to stop like forever. I just need some. It doesn't matter. I just need a bit of a break. What was the catalyst for that decision? Can't really go into detail. It's been a few things. Have you just not been enjoying streaming? I mean, I like streaming. I just there's just a lot of things surrounding the whole thing that making it. It's just making me need to step back for a minute and reassess what I want to do going forward. Is it the IP discourse? Nope.
LonerBox's obvious discomfort around the topic of Destiny led to what I can only describe as a cascading series of events where people began to realize that this once contained story was not going to be contained for much longer. And it has not taken long for even people such as Hassan to start reacting to this news.
Okay, so what's interesting is Bad Infant correct himself. It's not cheating, but that she had denied previously sleeping with him and then was in the leaks. Oh, okay. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense. So LonerBox starts dating a Destiny Orbiter. The Destiny Orbiter tells LonerBox, I never had sex with Destiny. And then Destiny, in the endless interest of like trying to fuck, e-girls that are in his DMs, sends his entire library of content that he filmed with his ex-wife, which I'm sure his ex-wife is not fully on board with. I would suspect that if you were Destiny's ex-wife, you probably aren't very happy about like videos of you guys having sex being distributed to random people, including, many other people. And that person that he sent it to, their friend, I think, leaked all of those videos and made it viral. And one of them was even Destiny like sucking a penis. And that's where the whole like did Destiny suck off.
This is true, by the way. Yeah, if it needs confirmation.
Nick Fuentes drama comes from. But ultimately, what ended up happening is, I guess that's when LonerBox found out that his girlfriend had actually lied to him, maybe. I don't know.
Given the nature of the developing situation, President Sunday...
Okay, so I guess it's confirmed that Pixie and LonerBox are actually dating. Okay, let me know when you're available to talk. Serious development. Good development. Oh, I'm not free until tonight to chat. TLDR, or should I wait? Urgent, actually. Tell me. I can't pass anything to Pixie, though. She's not replying. Even on the 18th. And I just don't feel comfortable bringing this up to her. No. Okay.
They suggest having a call with Straighterade to explain to her that...
So this story was developing all the way up to, like, days ago.
At the very least, Pixie's involvement is now public discourse. And most pressingly, that the conversation between Pixie and Erudite had leaked to a wide range of people. Sunday, for his part, had been approached for a conversation by another content creator regarding these leaks, as people were beginning to try and work out how much information everyone else was holding. They begin going back and forth, discussing who the leaker of the leaks may be, though honestly, looking through it, it's sort of an elementary question at this point. But we do get one more interesting detail, and that's the fact that Straighterade had been discussing all of this with Destiny throughout this period. In fact, it was Straighterade who suggested to Steven compensation. Sunday asks, "But given that your impulse is to try and find a mole, I'm going to assume that what they said is accurate. You suggested Steven pay for Pixie's law school." Straighterade responds, "This was one of my few suggestions. I said that she's in a precarious financial situation, that she's not consulted her therapist, and that therapy bills or payments to assist with law school would be money that would be productive to her because it's something to look forward to. She refuses to tell her family, and things were breaking down with Loner, and I felt overwhelmed being one of I don't know how many people she let into a limited support network." What follows in these DMs is essentially Sunday emphasizing
everyone's leaking to everyone. I don't think that's even true right now, right? So far as we can say, we've got Destiny, right? We've got Erudite, Pixie, Sunday, who else? Oh, Straighterade. I don't know how the fuck to do it, okay? So, who's leaking to who? Pixie is leaking to Straighterade. Straighterade is leaking to Sunday. Erudite is kind of leaking to Pixie. These guys are leaking back and forth. We can assume that Erudite is leaking to Destiny. But then who's leaking it to Beckett? I'm guessing from the screenshots we've seen, Sunday's probably leaking it to Beckett. Sunday told Beckett. Anything else I'm missing off here? I don't think everyone's leaking to everybody. Nicholas Durio, he's not intentionally leaking though, so I don't know if we can put that on.
The situation to Straighterade. At time of recording, Bad Empanada has come out with a video titled "Destiny is a sex criminal."
Beckett told Chud. Who told Chud? I don't know. And I don't think Chud's saying right now.
Shed porn of
Chud leaked to Nick. That is true, actually. Nick. And then Chud is probably out on the side here. Chud. So Chud's leaking stuff to Nick. And then Nick is technically, yeah, he's leaking stuff to Sunday, sure. Molina told Chud for old stuff with Lauren. Yeah, I'm just talking about this particular scenario.
Of multiple people without consent. The spiraling situation is what led to Sunday coming to me. He was aware already that I'd been looking for these DMs, and was aware at the very least of their existence. Because he wanted to provide a fuller context for them, rather than just me releasing them in a tweet, he offered this wider conversation with Straighterade, hoping it could help fill in any blanks, along with any outstanding leaks or information which I may not have. I have attempted to present this information with as little bias as possible. I really just want to provide you with a wider context for what has been happening within the DGG machine. I personally never sought out the Destiny leaks. I have now read more of Destiny's Kiwi farm page than I ever wanted to. And while, if I'm being frank, I'm not surprised or stunned or shocked by the leaks. I'm not a Destiny fan and never have been. But I've never hated the guy either. Unfortunately for me, this story is one that is basically impossible to ignore. It has been fascinating watching people dance around this topic. And at least for me, this is the part of the story that I wanted to know about. I'm not an accountability channel. I frankly don't care to be.
Jesus. Okay. What to do now? Okay. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. Okay. Like, subscribe. I'm going to go to a 5-minute be right back screen. Okay. And then we're going to go into a lot of the stuff that's kind of led up to this. Okay. I'm going to follow any developments that happens, any tweets that go on. Okay. Just as this stuff has obviously been like developing since, 2 hours ago. Okay. I'm going to go to a be right back screen. I'll see you guys in like 2 minutes.
Destiny, that's a woman's name. You were raised by your daddy and mama. That makes you half man and half woman. You are a beta. You're not a real man, beta. I just have one question for your beta. There's just one thing I want to know. Destiny, do you love black people?
Nice. Oh, perfect timing. Dude, okay. I'm not a Destiny fan just because I fucking pulled that up, okay? That is like the Destiny song, okay? There we go. Okay. So I think
you really should.
This is the original stream that Sunday did subsequent to the New Year's Eve stream. Jesus Christ, that New Year's Eve stream has been the source for like so much fucking drama. Jesus Christ. Okay. 56 people viewing, 57, and only 40 likes. What is going on, guys? Okay? It's just 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Give me this, okay? Move your thumb down on your mobile device. Move your cursor down on your PC. Just hit the like button. 2 seconds, it costs nothing. If you do want something to cost something, awful fucking intro, okay? $5 TTS. Only $1 and it appears on screen. $5 and it gets read out automatically, okay? And then your name gets included like there, okay? I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You really should actually be explaining why it is that when anybody else is a sex scandal, even if it's just embarrassing, not potentially criminal, you're all over that and you're milking that for everything it's worth. But as soon as Destiny is outed for literally just sending other people's nudes and sex tapes without their permission to some random e-girl, because that's the only way he can get women apparently, you're all dead silent. You're all dead silent. That's kind of embarrassing, actually. Normal people find people like you repugnant. Okay, so for context, need them for this channel. He leaked something to the tune of like 15 or 20 homemade porn videos to some foot fetish e-girl, and either through her or through somebody else, they got leaked yesterday. I'm hoping they are removed by now, but a whole lot of people who almost certainly did not consent to having this stuff out there are now potentially getting pretty hurt publicly. And everybody's covering for him because YouTube selects for very, very disgusting people to succeed in it, and that's how it works. Except for Chud Logic, weirdly, who's actually confronting some of these people about it at some risk to his career. Here we go.
Can we stop this sweeping, please? It's pretty obvious what went on, isn't it? There wasn't consent. It's obvious, bro. It's obvious, dude.
Chud, everybody accuses me of sweeping for Destiny as if I'll like never acknowledge any criticism against it. Okay,
No,
and it's so.
I mean, you can give them
it's only
abruptly.
I feel like a slave looking back into an escaped slave looking back into the plantation, and all their
It is Chud Logic, be advised.
wretchedly picking cotton for their master whipping them. You know.
He's gone insane, and the reason why I think he's gone insane is honestly because of the divorce situation from a month ago.
I brought all that. I had all that shit on my feed. I was ready to cover it. I'm just.
By the way, DK, the music is too goddamn loud. Balance it.
I don't know what's happening here, so I'm not touching.
Oh, you're gonna cover Destiny?
I had the Destiny stuff all pulled up, and I'm like, I don't know what. Well, not when I say the Destiny stuff, chat probably thinks I was gonna pull up him talk like the fucking video of him sucking
I've sent her a message on Discord. We'll see if she wants to hop on.
on camera. But no,
I'm kind of just waiting to see if he.
YouTube drama.
I'm waiting to see if he ever responds to anything about it, because that would be like.
Did you see
the Wick one?